All right, day one of my early day streams. Not exactly sure how well this is going to go, how many people are going to show up. That's fine. We'll see what happens. So, Chris Terry, he's come into the chat a couple times, and I was almost entirely convinced that he was going to porn bomb my stream. Right. And, anyone who saw earlier this week saw that shit happens. Really, really, really unnecessarily. Well, Chris Terry is not a porn bombing troll. He's a real person. So I saw him over on JS's channel, and I saw him debating JS. And I thought it was actually Calvin Collage. I thought that's who that was at first. They sound very similar. And then I forget exactly what point was brought up, but yes, it was. What's up, Corey? Good to see you, my man. So it was. Some point was brought up, and then I realized, oh, this is Chris Terry. He's been in my chat, right? So he called me out in chat. He said, oh, I'm coming for your channel next, yada, 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 right? So I reached out to him. Let's go ahead and give him a panel link real quick. Just send him the stream link. Which, I don't have any like personal issues with anybody, There are people that I think are a little on the crazier side for sure. But he wants to come tell me about how God has slavery in the docket for the white race, or Europeans, is what he says. So I'd love to have him come up and discuss this with me. He should already know this is not going to be like biblical scripture driven, because I'm not a biblical scripture kind of guy. So I'm going to approach this debate with kind of just historical knowledge and common sense. Just a few questions, really, right? That's all I have. This is not going to break down to solely a race conversation. If anything, it's going to be specifically driven by the history of different geographies. So we'll see what happens. I'd call this a morning coffee stream, but I'm not drinking coffee. I got a bang, baby. This is one of the best flavors too. I know it's backwards, so I don't know how I can like force this to be like flipped for some reason. Like I can flip my camera, and it will still. It's just not like this flag behind me is hung correctly. It's not hung backwards, and I would need to flip the flag backwards and have it hanging backwards for it to look like it was right on stream. So anyway, let's see if Chris Terry shows up. I definitely want to talk to the guy, right? Because he's like devout racist. He can't stand white people. Would love to have him on, and I really hope he takes up my offer. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, what's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. It's a good day. It's fucking hot, dude. It is insanely hot out there right now. I mean, I drove up to the gas station, buy this caffeine, and I almost was soaked by the time I got back. Like, crazy fucking hot out there right now. You know? See, I'll talk global warming for a second, okay? While I do believe in global warming, two things. One, I don't believe that the human race is who's responsible for it. I don't think there's... What's going on, Ashton All One? Welcome in, bro. Good to see you this morning. Good to see you. I don't believe the human race is entirely responsible for it. That doesn't really make any sense to me. But the second thing is, regardless of whether we are or not, I don't believe anything that one single country does is going to do anything about it. And the issue that we've run into with like global civilization is everybody would have to do something. Good morning, True Few. How you doing today, man? Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you. Everybody would have to do something. Every country on the planet would have to do something immediately at the exact same time. And the issue is we haven't figured out a way to transition into... Morning, Agrolepolis. Good to see you, my man. Welcome in. Welcome in. We haven't figured out a way to transition to some form of like what they call clean energy, green energy, right? And we haven't been able to figure out how to do that without completely kneecapping a country's energy production. Because that's what it does. It's not efficient enough. Hey, OSHA needs to sit the fuck down, okay? They've been given enough leeway to call shots, all right? They can fuck off. But I'm grateful they're around, because if it wasn't for some of their regulations, people would be dead in droves. But so it's terrible that we can't, as a global civilization, all agree on certain things. My thing is, if the United States, which as every day goes on, becomes viewed less and less by the rest of the world as the leader of the free world, right? We're not driving civilization anymore. If anything, for the past few years, we've kind of been hindering progress. You know, I'm not a fan of the kind of shit the United States has been doing over the past 25 years, right? And this has nothing to do with individual politicians. This is a collective effort that's been happening, you know? So if the United States, I mean, like, look at the course of events that's gone on over the past 6-7 years, okay? So the United States, people have been calling for more and more of this green energy and really focusing on getting away from coal and oil and all this. Right, exactly. I know. Yeah, they don't. It's insane. Because, like... Oh, Edrelopolis, dude. Hey, I hope everything goes well, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the support, dude. Always a pleasure. Thank you, man. Thank you. But, you know, I saw a meme the other day, True Few, and you might like this because I see you got the Bill of Rights in your avatar picture here. But I saw a meme that said, "Imagine how they would treat us if we didn't own 98% of the firearms." And if anything would make me a Second Amendment advocate, it's that. What's going on, old Joe? Welcome in, bro. Always good to see you in chat, man. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you, Ashton. You're a legend, dude. You're a legend. Yeah, boys, let's shoot one up real quick for Agrolepolis, man. God, thank you for bringing us all together today. thank you for this opportunity to speak with someone who does love you, someone who does truly care about you, and hopefully you can put your hand on their heart and heal the hatred that they have inside for people of a different race. I hope that when Agrilepolis goes into his MRI today, you keep your hands on him, and hopefully whatever they're looking for, the damage is minimal as possible, and he can have a speedy recovery, because you are the one who's going to set those things in motion. You are the one who's going to give him the nurse and the doctors that are going to be, deciding what his course of treatment is for whatever he's going through. So please, God, we ask you just to be with Agrilepolis today and wish him a speedy recovery. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Yes, 100%, man. Absolutely. Agrilepolis, if you're still listening, dude, I hope everything goes well, my man. I feel you. I just had an MRI on the 10th, so luckily God set things in motion to where I didn't need surgery. I hope the very same for you, my dude. But yeah, it'd be fucking terrible, man. I mean, the rest of the world doesn't see us as free, and that's the thing. Like, our Second Amendment is the thing that keeps the government at bay. That's just what I believe, right? And luckily, I know a lot of people don't agree with this take. I'm a little bit of like a Second Amendment absolutist. Like, that's one thing I'm kind of radical on, right? I'll be straight up. And the Second Amendment has brought us to a point where it's going to be completely fucking impossible to take all the guns out of the citizens' hands. Like, there would be serious uprising if they did something like that, if they tried to. I know there's areas where people would just hand them over because that's what some people do, but even, like, I'm not even necessarily saying it would be a successful uprising. Oh, Corey, I could have asked for that one in a prayer, you know? You know what I'm saying? I'd be at the top of society right now. But I'm not saying it'd be a successful uprising if something like that were to happen, but there would be, it would not happen peacefully. Okay, there's just way too many. There's more than one firearm per citizen in the United States. So, cheers to that. I'm grateful we've let it get to this point, because that's the thing, man. Like, if we didn't have those, they'd tell us to do whatever the fuck they wanted. And what leverage do you have against your government at that point? That's really that's the baseline question right there. Okay. Like, see, and this is the thing I don't get about the activists. Okay. So the activists, they think that they're actually like deterring things and they're actually doing something when they go out onto the street and they hold their signs and they scream stuff at people and they call folks fascists and they do all that, right? If the government wanted to shut them down and send the military in, what leverage do they have? Oh, that's constitutional, or that's unconstitutional, right? What's that going to do if the government doesn't care about the Constitution? Let's be very clear here, guys. Putting your hand on a Bible and putting one hand in the air and saying, "I do solemnly swear to abide and protect to abide by and protect the Constitution," or whatever the Masonic, oath is given, and with the rituals and all that, whatever that may be, that doesn't mean shit. It doesn't. And to think that something like that is going to, when you think of the kinds of things that our government has done in the past, okay, right. Right. They don't care about the Bill of Rights. And that's the thing, is our Second Amendment has gotten to a point where we industrialized something like the firearms trade. Right. I knew what you meant. Well, I don't know if it's used to take them necessarily, but the thing is, there's nothing they're going to be able to do about the guns to get capitulation peacefully. Nothing at all. You know, they're like, I know a lot of people in the city, absolutely based, Corey. Absolutely based. Yeah. It's fucking Masonic shit, dude. That's all it is. You know? And I'm not even trying to be like a conspiracy theorist, Illuminati, all that bull, right? Go to a Mason Lodge. Go to your local Mason Lodge. Ask them about what kind of, you know, ceremonies and stuff they have there. And then tell me if that does not match up very similarly to, we bring this guy out, instead of just telling him, okay, you got the job, you better fucking do good. Instead, we bring them out, they swear on a religious text, they give a speech in front of a crowd of people. It's a ceremony, okay? And what is a ceremony other than a ritual? It's even done religiously on like a set time frame. Every 4 years, every 2 years. Yeah. Well, you know, I'll definitely take a look into that. Okay, I'll take a look into that. I've never actually like read a federal indictment in its entirety, so I'll definitely look into that for sure. Good putting me on, dude. I don't know if you know this. I fucking love reading. That's my jam, dude. And that's not to say that, like, you know, everyone in the government's a Freemason or anything like that. That's not what I'm going down. What I'm saying is these ceremonies and rituals that we have to, you know, inaugurate a president, instead of just telling them, okay, you got the job, you better fucking do good, right? You're getting paid by these people, so you better like take their best interest at heart and actually act in it. Instead, they're immediately literally put onto a pedestal. And they do this. I swear by the Constitution. And then they stand up in front of people and they give a speech, right? And it's always some fucking, like, it's never written by them. It's written by somebody else. And it's a fucking show, dude. It's a show. I'm sorry. Like, literally the entire campaign is just a show to tell you why you should vote for them. That's it. And every president, term after term after term, does not do what they say they're going to fucking do. Okay? Bottom line. That's Trump. That's Biden. That's Obama. That's Bush. That's Clinton. That's Bush's dad. That's Reagan. Every single one of them. Okay? So the campaign trail is just a fucking hype show. That's what it is. It's nothing more, nothing less. And I'm not, I really don't like going down the black pill route with this kind of stuff, because I genuinely, like, I do feel like there's an optimism that I have for the future of the United States. And I think there are things set in motion that are fixing stuff. And this stuff these aren't things that can be fixed all at once in their entirety in a very short period of time, right? There's a lot of issues in our country right now. We have our money is literally worth nothing. I mean, our economy is based on debt. We're getting closer and closer to a point where the interest on the debt that we owe the Federal Reserve, because that's who we owe the money to, the interest is going to surpass our GDP. Okay? And like, this isn't debt alarmism. Exactly, true few. Exactly. Right. Debt is not alarmist. Like I'm not a debt alarmist, okay? But it's very important to understand that. What's up, Robert Whaley? Welcome in, bro. Always good to see you, my man. I'm still waiting for Chris Terry to get in here. So he told me I'll be free by noon at the latest. So hopefully he gets in here. I sent him a message. I was pretty I was cordial with him. I said, morning, hope you're having a great day. I wasn't like, I want the guy to come on. He fucking hates white people. He hates us. Okay. Because like in his mind, we're not Americans. There's no such thing as Americans. There's Africans and Europeans, right? And like, fuck, dude, we left Europe, what, 500 years ago? Or 400 years ago? Fuck that. I ain't no European. I'm an American, damn it. But there's a lot of problems in the country. Sorry, I digress a little bit there. There's a lot of problems in the country. And these things... Okay, yeah, so even further back, over 500 years ago. That's right. Yeah. Sorry. I was thinking early 1600s. I mean, I don't even know when my family got here. I'm pretty sure, half of my family was conquering the Caribbean and Central and South America. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah. So, see, if I'm not mistaken, one half of my family came into Ellis Island in the 1800s. And the other half probably came down before that. I don't know necessarily. But I know that like I'm half white Cuban, right? So half of my family was Spaniard that conquered the Caribbean and Central and South America. But I didn't have anything to do with that. I'm not out here. Yeah, you said that. That's so badass, Robert Whaley. That's so cool, man. I wish I could look back on something like that in my family line to be able to say that. See, I just don't know. That's the only thing that I have no idea about. That's cool though, man. But we have one of the biggest crises in our country right now is the amount of people who are entirely dependent upon the government. Like, of course, if someone has a debilitating disability, okay, I'm okay with tax dollars going to them, right? People can disagree with that, but I'm okay with that. I get it. You know what I mean? There's people who they can't operate off of an income that they make because they can't get a job. Darth Matt Maximus, what's going on, brother? Always good to see you, my man. Always good to see you. You know what? You're kicking ass and taking names, my dude. You always do, every single day. But to import mass people into the country and then supply them with government benefits to incentivize people to not work and stay home and collect money off the government, to incentivize able-bodied workers. Let me be clear about that, right? Like, if there are people who you actually cannot like function in a job or function in society, like, I'm okay with taxes going to people like that. But here's the thing. That's a very small amount of people, okay? It's not like a massive swath of the population, at least not as big of a percentage of the population of people that actually get those benefits, right? And we have an insane drug trade in the country. Like, there's foreign nations creating drugs that people are dying from left and right, and they are coming over our borders in insane numbers. It's crazy. See, that's the thing, like, fentanyl. I hate saying this. I would rather there be real heroin coming over the border than fentanyl. Heroin never killed people to the degree it kills, that fentanyl kills people. And like the shitty thing is, fentanyl is killing people in drugs that it shouldn't even be a part of, right? Like, there are bars in Birmingham, okay? Just to give you guys, this is anecdotal. If I need to pull it up or whatever, I will. But there's bars in Birmingham that have fentanyl testing strips in baskets near the bathroom. And what these people are saying is, we don't want you doing blow in the bathroom. But if you're going to do blow, we don't want you to die, right? What's going on, Slim? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure, man. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Darth Matt, you have a great day, man. Thanks for stopping by, bro. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm still waiting on Chris Terry. What time is it? Motherfucker, you got 2 minutes, bro. Oh. Good. I'm glad you're not going nowhere, my brother. But, another problem that we have in this country is we have Congress people who, what's up, Shiva? Good to see you, my man. Welcome. Hey, do you want to jump up? I don't know if this Chris Terry guy is going to jump in here. So if you want to jump up, we can have that conversation we were talking about. If you have time, bro. But another problem that we have in this country is people are... We have Congress, people in our Congress, who regulate markets and also bet on those markets, right? So, like, to me, what people call investing, I understand putting money into the stock market. Oh, yeah, you're good, bro. You're good. Yeah. I'll go ahead and shoot you a link, Shiva. What people... There you go, brother. Just sent it. What most people colloquially call investing, just like from my purview, I'm not saying like investing in the stock market is not real investing, but it's not to the same degree where like investment to me is when I'm starting a business or getting a business together, somebody else will invest either, hard cash or equipment or whatever it is, and they'll put that into something for a return, right? But they also get ownership of the business to like a larger degree, right? So you're assisting in getting the wheels moving. You're assisting in like getting the business up and going. Versus when you're investing in stocks, these are companies that are already like established. I mean, they're established enough to be recognized by the New York Stock Exchange, right? Like there has to be a specific amount of money moving through a business in order for them to qualify. So at that point, with stocks, I would consider stocks more of a gambling aspect than like investing. Now they're both gambling to a degree, but one is it breeds more tangible results, I guess is what I'm trying to say here, right? And that's what I'm saying is investing in stocks is real investing, but it's more of like a betting market, if anything, you know, because I can throw a little here, little here, little here, little here, little here, you know, and it's for like the everyday man, especially with fractional trading options, right? So like I could literally put $50 onto a Robinhood account, and I could use that $50 to fractionally bet on 50 different stocks and throw $1 into everything. You know, now how much of a return is that going to get me? Who the fuck knows? But that's something every man can do. If I go to someone who's trying to start a business and I go, hey bro, here's $50. What kind of return am I going to get on that? Nothing. $50 is nothing when it comes to starting a business. So, when the people in our country that are writing the legislation and voting on the legislation that regulates the very markets that they're betting on, that's a huge fucking problem, okay? And that's why, like, I am of the mindset that our Congress is bought and paid for. When they're going to write legislation, let's be like just honest here, guys. Do you think it is not known by these corps what kind of regulations are going to be put in? Yes. Very true. That's another one. Yes. But do you think these corps aren't aware of what's going to get voted on? Like, with the system that we have now, okay, I would not be shocked if everybody knew who was going to vote for what. You can almost bank, right? You can almost bank that when something gets put up into office, it's going to go down party lines. A few detractors here and there, whatever, right? But you can't tell me that the Democrats in Congress, no Democrat in Congress speaks to any Republican in Congress, and vice versa. No one's ever going to be able to convince me of that. It's just, that's a far out concept. It's insane to me. So, if they know what kind of regulations are going to be put up ahead of time, they have time to prepare. Does that necessarily mean that they're giving money directly to these people in Congress? No. But I don't know if there's any, I don't know if there's any laws against, hey, we're going to be putting this regulation into place. This is going to affect this, in this market. Let's invest accordingly. Take your money out, short it. They know ahead of time, before it gets published, right? Like, all these people know everything before it hits the public sphere. They all know it before it hits the public sphere. They know when things get proposed. They know when things are going to be voted on. They decide when they're going to get voted on. I mean, you know, what's up, Shiva? Good morning, bro. Well, I guess good afternoon or good evening.
Good evening. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, man, I can hear you.
How do I sound?
Good. Oh, yeah. You're edible, bro.
I've just installed a new mic arm, which is quite nice, but it's kind of handy because the mic arm that I was using before was like a floor-mounted, nut job, whereas this is quite a swanky desk-mounted. Like I can move the microphone away and move it back again, and it's nice.
Yeah.
But there's always that slight moment of anxiety when you plug everything back in, and But yeah, all seems to be working smoothly. So,
absolutely, yeah, man. Funny enough, I'm gonna be getting a boom mic here soon myself, so I won't have the headset around my neck anymore. It's the past couple panels I've been on other channels. People have been razzing me about wearing a headset around my neck, so I'm just like, whatever. I'm just gonna go boom mic so people shut the fuck up.
What kind of mic you looking at?
Yeti Blue.
Oh dear.
Yeah, bro, I'm broke as shit.
Well, yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah. So you want to hear the funniest thing? So the Yeti Blue mic, you'll see it, but it doesn't have like a screw in to hook into the boom itself. So it's got a little circular platform at the bottom and a stem, and then that hooks onto the mic. So I'm gonna hang the Yeti on the boom stand, just have it like that. You'll see, bro. You'll see. Yeah, I'm not a rich man.
Can you not get a cheap truck mount for it?
What happened?
Can you not get a cheap truck mount for it? Sorry, I'm eating my dinner. I know this is very rude going on panel when I'm eating, but
do your thing, bro. I don't mind.
Can you not get a shock mount, like a cheap shock mount for it?
I could, but I'm getting all this for free. So,
all right, then you definitely can get a cheap shock mount.
Well, yeah. So that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. I'm just. So
hang on, let me just check this. If I bang the arm of this boom, can you hear that? I'm guessing you can.
Barely. So it sounds more like wind versus you actually tapping it.
I'd say it's quite nice just being able to move the microphone to wherever my mouth is.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is handy. Like the old stand was, it was all right, but every time I was going to go live or go on Discord, I'd have to move the mic stand into position. And then I couldn't really move my head around, whereas with this, I can kind of move my head and it's fine. Like I can just move the microphone. I like it. I might move it slightly closer. But anyway, enough.
It sounds good to me though, man. Like you're coming in clear. I can understand everything.
So you want to discuss how the Bible endorses slavery?
Well, no, because I know that it does, right? So the kind of the course of the conversation that we went on in that chat was, the Bible did endorse slavery, but then the contradiction with bringing that back today, especially in America. Can we like agree that in America it is? I mean, we can go anywhere that has abolished slavery, right? So we don't necessarily have to be like in America, but would you not agree that people having liberties and then having them taken from them would be stealing from them, right? Shiva.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of thinking while I was chewing. So I don't know. I think that's kind of stretching the definition of stealing to the point of equivocation. Like, if you commit a crime and then you're deprived of your freedom as a punishment, is the state then stealing your freedom?
Yes, But that's along following that, like that comes with following the law, right? So you break the law, it is already a known consequence that when you do X thing is a potential of happening, right? And an overwhelming potential in to some degrees, you know.
Right.
Wherewith if I'm a child and I've never committed a crime,
Right.
and I'm born into a country where, you know, let's say, just for the sake of argument, white people in America, we have liberties, and then some other ethno-nationalist group that is a different race or nationality takes over, and they want to put white people into slavery. Okay, so I'm a child and I'm born in the country before that happens, and then as I grow older, slavery is instituted for white people. I haven't done anything illegal.
So, I think I'm coming down on rejecting the assertion that biblical slavery contradicts the Ten Commandments. I think the reason why is because God gave laws to Moses concerning slavery.
Yeah,
right.
He did.
And so you're essentially saying that God is contradicting himself.
Well, not necessarily, because back then there was slavery. There still is slavery today. You know, like there's more slavery now than there ever has been. You know what I mean?
But why couldn't God have said owning slaves is bad, yo?
I mean, fair, 100%. I agree.
Because he was quite happy to say worshipping other gods was bad.
Yeah.
And that was also rife in the area at the time, like people worshipping, you know, Baal is mentioned quite a lot in the Bible. I think Ishtar gets mentioned, or maybe not Ishtar, it might be Astartes gets mentioned once or twice.
Yeah.
Moloch, of course, is a very famous one, you know.
Yeah. If I, with the context of the present day right now, we're back in the 1800s, it's very easy for me to say I would be an abolitionist. Very easy. Plus, like, you know, to me, like, a lot of the abolitionists were some of the most badass people on the planet, right? Like, you can really find some serious examples of some, like, for real masculine abolitionists, you know. But if I was around then, when it was already a thing, it's a thing that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years at that point, I don't know how I would have felt. So I can't make a call and say, "What's up, N-word? Good to see you, bro. Welcome in, dude. Adam Price, always good to see you, my man. What's up, dude? Welcome. Thank you, man." Said, when you read the Bible, did you all of a sudden start feeling like owning a slave was good? If not, why did you take it as an endorsement? Well, no. So Adam, Shiva's not a Christian. He didn't think it was good. And he's not advocating for slavery. He's saying that he feels that God is immoral and unjustified in saying that people can take slaves. And he thinks that God should have been against slavery back then, which I understand that perception, right? Like, if I was in that position where I could control an entire group of people with the way I think now and the way my mind operates now, I absolutely would have been against it. But what I'm trying to do is take the context of the time into account with the way that I'm approaching this. And for me, I can't say I would have been for it or against it because I just don't know, right? Like,
I mean, presumably that would depend on whether you were a slave or a master.
Fair, or just a regular person.
And I think
white abolitionists in America weren't slaves, you know.
Right. But I think you may be atypical among theists in that you appear not to morality to be absolute.
Fair, yeah. I mean, so when I talk about morality, and like this is subject to change. What's up, JS? Good to see you, man. Hey, Chris Terry's supposed to jump in today at some point. He still hasn't responded to me. I sent him the link. He said noon at the latest, and I sent him the link about 45 minutes ago. So we'll see if he jumps in. But thanks for jumping in, by the way, JS. Appreciate you, man. So that's subject to change. I don't know yet. You know, I still like, I'm on numbers in the Bible. You know what I mean? I haven't read through the entire Bible. I don't know what the entire Bible says, but as it stands right now, morality to me is just a consistent reference point. Something that I can point back to. You seem to have yours as well, right? So that's where it stands for me. And I would say, I guess, like you were saying, absolute morality and objective morality are two different things, yeah?
Well, the words absolute and objective mean different things, don't they? So,
yeah.
Like, if something is objective, it just means that it's extant independent of one's kind of personal views or beliefs on the matter. Absolute just means that it's unchanging throughout time, right?
Right. Yeah. And that's, I mean, it's definitely changed over time. Adam Price.
No, I'd agree with you, and I'd agree with Adam Price that 2025 social morality certainly isn't absolute. But I would posit that we have a more, how am I going to phrase this? A more refined moral intuition than people had during the biblical epoch. You know, what is it, 6,000 BCE, whatever. To be honest, it kind of spanned. Like, I'm currently on. I'm near the end of Second Kingdoms, so I'm just about to start what's apparently a very boring part of the Bible in Chronicles. But currently, in the bit that I'm at, we're about 700 BCE.
Okay.
So nearly 1,000 years before Mary dropped the spog.
Man, I love some of the slang from the UK, dude. It's so funny sometimes, dude. But yeah, man. Yeah, see, I haven't read that far, so I don't know. You know, that's one of the reasons why, like, it's really tough for me to argue like biblical principles and everything. I can argue them conceptually, but I really don't want to misinterpret or like misrepresent what the Bible actually says. So, like, if things are brought up and I can like reference to them, look at them, read them, and then I can give my own kind of like, you know, opinion and the way that I think on stuff like that, but I can't, like, without understanding the context when it comes to actually bringing up scripture. I really try to stay away from that as much as possible because, you know, I'm not scholarly when it comes to like the Bible or anything, and that's. I
mean, neither am I. I'm not a Bible scholar, but you know, it's like I can read, say, Leviticus 25:44 to 46 and understand perfectly what it's saying. Like I don't need a kind of broader context in order to be able to understand that passage that says, from the foreigners you can buy slaves, you can buy their children, you can own them as property, and you can pass them on to your children as an inheritance after you die. Like that doesn't seem to me to need, but the Israelites you shall not mistreat as slaves, right? So that doesn't seem to me to need context. Like, it seems pretty clear what that's saying. It's saying you can buy people as slaves, you can buy children as slaves, as long as they're from the nations around you.
Yeah, I understand that. See, it's just it's so hard when it goes down that line, you know, because, like, I would say he also had some pretty like strict rules on how to treat slaves, and like you treated your slaves well.
Well, you know? No, you can beat your slave, and as long as your slave survives 2 or 3 days, there's no comeback on you.
Really?
Yeah. Hang on, I haven't got my notes open. Maybe JS is in the chat. He might be able to remember the passage. I think it might be in Exodus. It's either in Exodus or Deuteronomy. Slavery. All right, Exodus chapter 21, verses 20 to 21. If a man beats his male or female servant with a rod, and he dies under his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding, if he remains alive a day or two, the Lord shall not be punished, for he is his property. Right. So that's saying, like, if you beat your slave with a stick, and the slave dies, right, then you're punished, and I think it's a fine. If the slave survives a day or two, there's no punishment, and if they die thereafter, I think it's assumed to be an accident.
Yeah. So back then, what was the context to how slaves were treated in general? Because, like, it was obviously, if he's saying you can buy them from other countries, that means other countries are already selling them.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So,
slavery was endemic in the region, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think there were a number of ways that you could become a slave. So I think if you were a woman, your father could sell you. If you lived in a city that the Israelites were attacking, what they're supposed to do is go to the city and then say, all right, we're going to attack you now, but if you surrender, then we'll just put you to forced labor. But if you don't surrender, then we're going to kill you all.
But see, it also says in Exodus that you can't steal a man.
No, you can't abduct someone, yeah, unless you're invading their city and you take them captive. Right, so I forget which passage it's in, but one of the laws that God gives is regarding invading cities. And so if you go to a city that you're going to invade, and then you offer them the chance to surrender, and they surrender, then you're supposed to put them into forced labor. Right?
Yeah. So let's contextualize this with where we're at today, right? So as a slave, you would say you don't own anything, correct?
I mean, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I'm guessing
you own your own house.
You might own your clothing, right?
Yeah, your clothing, but I'm saying, like, you know, like, let's say you own a house, you own a car, you own whatever it is.
Right.
You know, so if that were to be implemented today, let's say we got like hardcore, like radical Christian nationalists that took over and they wanted to institute slavery, and right, people who are taken as slaves, let's say we based it on race, okay, just as an example, like for the sake of argument.
Well, let's say we based it on whether you're bald or not.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. That's cool. I'm good with that. All right. So let's say all baldy boys, right? We all get like put into slavery.
Right.
Everything that I own here, my car, my computer, Charlie, right? What happens to that?
I think it would depend, right? Like, so I think that there are different types of slavery in the Bible. So I'm guessing that if you were an indentured servant, presumably in order to try and pay off the debt, you would have sold everything beforehand.
Okay.
Right. Like putting yourself into servitude would probably have been a last resort. I think if you were sold as a piece of property, then you probably don't own anything anyway. Right. If you were taken captive, I think the same would probably apply. Like if you were living in a city, and then the army came, invaded the city, killed all the soldiers, and then took you captive. I don't imagine that they'll be fine with you just kind of like gathering up your family heirlooms, you know.
Right. Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
Like
So
they just, yeah.
go ahead. My bad.
So I'm guessing it would kind of like, I'm guessing no matter what the situation as a slave, you probably wouldn't own any property.
Right. So today, the reason we don't have slaves is because people own property.
No,
and
that's
would that
not why
not
we
be
don't have
against
slaves.
one of the 10 Commandments to?
That's not why we don't have slaves. The reason why we don't have slaves is because people realized it wasn't an.
Well, yes. Yeah. Sorry. You're right. I worded that wrong. So one of the reasons we can't institute slavery today, aside from like, you know, the way that people think now versus back then, is if we were talking about from like the Christian standpoint, why God wouldn't institute slavery in somewhere like America,
Right.
they would literally have to steal their belongings in order to put them into
Yeah,
slavery.
but God doesn't have a problem with that. Like if you invade a city, right, the spoils of war are a thing. You can take property as spoils. Like that's not banned. Like what's banned is like, you know, stealing stuff from your neighbor or from the guy down the street or from the shop down the road, right?
Well, is that everybody or is that just the Israelites?
Well, I'm guessing it's just the Israelites. Well, I'm guessing the law only applies to Israelites because they were God's chosen people, right?
Yeah,
or whoever was brought into the fold. Because I think you can become an Israelite by conversion, right? You know, if you get your skin snipped off.
Yeah.
Lose the tip.
Right. Yeah. That was what's going on, Grubble Stiltskin? Welcome in, dude. That was one of the hard parts to read through there is when they started talking about circumcision, because it was like, you know, they're getting like 20, 30, 40, 50-year-old men. They're coming in and they're snipping it. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We've been slightly taking the piss out of James, who's a very good sport. Like I like James quite a lot. You know, he's a good lad. But apparently he's some sort of Christian Jew now, some sort of Messianic Jew. It seems to me to be a bit of a contradiction. Like that seems oxymoronic, but you know, fine. But we were kind of ragging on him in JS's panel the other day, saying that he might need to get recircumcised.
Yeah. James is good. He's a good cat. I like him.
He's a good egg, as we might say over here.
Yeah, he really is. I remember one time I saw he jumped into VK and he debated JS, and he just like
I'm not sure.
He just filibustered and like the whole time, and JS was like trying to say something, he couldn't get a word in edgewise, and James ended up winning. It was so funny. It was like he didn't even make a point. He just stammered the entire time and ended up taking the W for it. That was it. It was so funny, dude.
Now, I think Joshua is misrepresenting the number of foreskins that the king asked for by an order of magnitude. It wasn't 1,000. It was 100, and they brought back 200. I think.
Was it 100 and 200? See, I don't know.
Well, I think David presents 200 foreskins to King Saul.
That's
Let
heavy.
me just check. I think it's in 1 Samuel, isn't it? Hang on, let me get Bible Hub up. 1 Sam. I don't know, let's go 1 Samuel 15. Right, Control F, foreskin. Okay, it's not in 1 Samuel 15.
Crumple. What would your MOS be at that point?
It's not in 1 Samuel 16. No matches in 1 Samuel 7. Maybe it's not in 1 Samuel.
He's saying
I was. Is it 1 Samuel 18? Oh, right. Yeah, there's 2 references to foreskins. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, in verse 25, Saul replied, "Say to David, the king wants no other price for the bride." Oh, this is a bride price than 100 Philistine foreskins to take revenge on his enemies. And then David goes out, kills 200 Philistines, and brings back 200 foreskins in verse 27.
Wild times.
I mean, that's an odd price to ask for a bride, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think was going through his head then? Do you think he was going to make it into skin cream?
Right, exactly. Because like wives today, man, like if I had to pay someone else's foreskins just for her to take my balls, like, you know what I mean? Anyway, it is savage, bro. 100%, dude. Absolutely. Wild times back then, gentlemen, you know?
Maybe the Jews in Israel today should demand 100 foreskins from Hamas.
Let's hope not. You know, so and that's one thing that's interesting to me too, because you know, in what was it, Exodus 29 is when they're talking about like the sacrificial rituals,
right?
Do the Jews still practice that in Israel? Like, do they still sacrifice animals?
No, because isn't there some issue with the temple,
the tabernacle?
Yeah, wasn't that destroyed, and don't they need to build a new one? Like, you can't just do blood rituals anywhere, right? You've got to do them.
It has to be at the tent of meeting. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, no, later when Solomon builds the temple, which you'll get to in I think it's in First Kingdoms. It might be in Second Kingdoms. Then that's where they do the horror movie blood rituals.
Okay. All right.
Do those rituals not read like they're ripped out of a horror movie? You know, like splashing blood over everyone and.
Sorry, Sheba. I have friends who are in the military, and Grumble's a military guy, so I have like a loose understanding of what he's talking about here.
I have no idea what any of that means.
Yeah. It's like military guy talk. I wasn't in the military.
So what's the secondary?
They've explained this to me.
What's the secondary MOS?
So MOS is essentially your job, right? That you're assigned in the military. And he's saying, like, I was asking him earlier when he was saying, what was it? He said, imagine being the private first class on that one official foreskin counter.
Right.
And I was asking him what his MOS would be. And he's saying that'd have to be your secondary MOS, probably in the 8XOC field, like 8169, you know? Nice.
I'm a red coat. That seems to me, don't those red coats, like, they seem to be an extraordinarily poor colour to outfit your soldiers in, like bright red.
Very
right?
much so. Very
that
much.
That would be, you know, easy to spot in virtually every single fucking environment that you can think of.
Right. Well, see, so you know, war back in the 1700s wasn't fought the same way it's fought now. Like guerrilla warfare was something that, at least in like waspy wars, right? Like between America and the UK, let's say. What's up, Abe Dinkus? Welcome in, brother. Always good to see you, my man. You know, back then we literally just lined up and started lobbing shots at each other. And that was one of the reasons why the Confederacy was doing so well in the Civil War, because they would have soldiers that were like lined up and everything, but then at the same time they'd also like utilized guerrilla warfare in the forests, where, you know, they could surround and flank and, you know, all sorts of different tactics. It's one of the reasons why the Confederacy was so successful in the beginning of the war, you know. So, but yeah, you're right 100%. If it's like, So you know what's funny? Okay, so when I was younger, a couple of my friends were real big paintballers,
Right.
and we went out to this paintball field, and there was this like big Eastern European guy that was out there. Now, I'm from Florida. Okay, I don't know if you know this, but it's never snowed where I'm from. Right? Like that's never been a thing. I'm right off the coast.
What about during the Ice Age?
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
He was in. My man was in snow camo out in the fucking Florida woods. You know what I mean?
Right.
And same concept where like you'd be hungry. Like they had this whole setup out there with a bunch of like, you know, beaten down cars and stuff, and like you'd pay to get in and everything. But it was a really cool little section, like property that they had out there where they would let people go out and play paintball. And this guy was wasn't invented. But you could
no,
see.
wait. But Florida was there in the Ice Age, right? The land was there.
But it wasn't invented.
The land wasn't invented. Florida is just a name.
I know. Yeah.
Shut up, Josh, or I'll rip your nuts off and feed them to the pig.
But yeah. Anyway, so back to what we were talking about.
Okay. Let's get back to it.
I understand where you come from in saying that slavery is immoral, right?
Well, I haven't even made that claim. My claim is, I mean, I do think it's wrong.
Yeah.
But my claim is that the Bible is pro-slavery, therefore God is pro-slavery. That's the claim, and it's like the interesting thing from my perspective is that sort of puts like Christians who believe in an absolute moral standard, i.e., like morals that don't change over time. It kind of puts them into a bind, right? Like, because either they have to accept that the Bible and therefore God endorses slavery, or they have to say that morals change over time, or they have to say that the Bible is wrong.
Or admit that God was pro-slavery. I mean, I will say this. So, over time, we've developed systems that get in the way of something like slavery, right? And in the Bible, there's more things. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's not. See, this is one of the things that I love about Josh, is that he'll just bite the bullet. Are you agreeing with him that it's not inherently moral or immoral to own other people as property?
Well, so I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't like it either, but you know, now you're making the sort of argument that I might make, which is one from moral emotivism. Are you a moral emotivist?
You definitely got me thinking, man. Like this is definitely something to think about. You know,
and we haven't even gotten on to rape yet.
Yeah, that's a tough one. JS, I think that's the big one, right? That's the big one. Boys, I don't think Chris Terry's showing up today. It's been like 40 minutes since he said he was going to jump in. I sent him the fucking stream link. He told me he'll be free by noon at the latest.
Yeah, I'd quite like to see Josh debate Justin from Deconstruction Zone on slavery. Like, that would be funny, seeing Josh go up there and say, well, I don't think it's inherently immoral to own slaves.
This is why I'm reading the Bible. So that's fair. I don't know what time zone he's in. JS, you know what time zone Chris Terry's in?
Well, what time is it on the East Coast
On the East Coast right now, it's almost 2 o'clock.
in the afternoon? So it's going to be
Yeah.
like 9 in the morning on the West, isn't it?
No. So on the West Coast right now, it's 10:40. So it's about 11.
No, that can't be right. Isn't the West Coast like? Oh, it's like 3 or 4. Sorry,
Yeah. There's 4 time zones in mainland
Yeah.
America.
Ignore me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Dude, you're good, man. You don't live here. I get it.
I mean, when I go live, I do like I know enough to subtract 5 from whatever time it is here, and tell the Americans that I'm going at 10 o'clock EST.
Yeah.
And then I'll leave it to them to work the rest out.
Right. No, I get
Although
that.
sometimes Americans aren't aware of their own time zones and they actually get it backwards.
Really?
Yeah. Effigy did that one time.
Oh yeah. Well, I think sometimes, like, people just forget. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's crazy. I like Effigy. Me and him do not agree on almost basically anything, but he's a good debater. And
Effigy and I tend to agree on most things except free will.
Really? So I guess when it comes down to the free will concept, like, what can you illustrate your position on that? And what you determine as free will?
Yeah, free will is choices that are made free of any prior causal or conditioning factors. Like, that's what the word means in philosophy, right?
Okay. Yeah, you were talking about the philosophical definition of necessity, which is like something has to be what it is, and it has to. Yeah,
so that was because they looked up the Google definition, which is like a choice made free of necessity or fate or something like that. And fair. I think when people read that, they kind of tend to interpret the word necessity in a colloquial fashion, which is fine, to mean based on need. But that's not what the word means. It means like, so for, like, if you add 2 and 2 together, the answer is necessarily 4. Right. Like it's that sort of necessity. Like, it has to follow from what comes before.
Right.
So there's a really good argument that I like, it is the argument that I tried using on Manar, which is based on the law of excluded middle, right? So this is a law of logic in which a proposition, either P is true or its negation is true, and a proposition can't occupy both spaces.
Right. Yeah.
And the truth doesn't lie in the middle. Yeah. So, okay. So you would agree that, like, using the law of excluded middle, actions either originate outside of ourselves or from within ourselves.
Correct.
If they originate outside of ourselves, then we can't be said to be in control of that, right? If they originate within ourselves, then we're then faced with 2 possibilities. Either actions are caused or they are random, right? Those are the only 2 options.
Yeah.
Right? If they're caused, they're deterministic. If they're random, then we can't be said to be in control of that. So no matter where you turn, the idea of free will is not tenable. And if you posit something like some sort of self or a soul that is the locus of free will, all you're doing is relocating the problem, right? Because then you just ask the same question, right? If actions arise within the soul, are they caused or are they random? And so you either end up with determinism or lack of control, because you can't control that which is random. Right?
Yeah. I understand that. I think, like, so I was coming at free will. I guess I haven't necessarily looked into the definition of free will to that degree. So in my kind of understanding of free will, it is just what I choose to do.
Yeah,
Right.
that's just will.
That's just will. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. I see what it is here. All right. So I was looking at the term determinism the same way I looked at the term predeterminism, and I was looking at the term will in the same way that I look at the term free will, and
Right.
all four of those things are different things.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
why what I tend to argue for is contingent will.
Yeah.
So because I'm a Buddhist, right, and so my view is that all phenomena arise in dependence upon conditions, and that includes human actions. Like they necessarily arise in dependence upon conditions, and those conditions can be varied, right? They some of them it could be biological, like that there does seem to be some compelling evidence that that decisions happen in the brain. I think it's some ridiculous length of time, like 5 seconds, before the agent is consciously aware of having made that decision, right? So, and that's pretty mental. And there are other experiments that have taken place where we can monkey around with different parts of the brain and either influence or disrupt the person's choice-making process. But some of the causes could be psychological. They could be social, environmental. So, like, I would kind of put that under biological.
Sorry. My bad. Yeah.
So I'm not a determinist, and I tend not to think in terms of one cause leading to one effect, which then becomes a cause that leads to an effect in a kind of linear chain. I tend to think more in terms of a kind of web of conditions and causes. So no, I kind of agree with you. Then, yeah. See, I was under the impression that, like, with free will, it was just I have the choice to decide what I do or what I don't do. Right.
When you're saying, like, those choices in and of themselves are developed from pre-existing, like, either whether your genes have acted out in a certain way or whether there's been something that's happened in your past, those choices are going to be driven by those things. Yeah,
or even things like I think I'd like to make this argument regarding judicial punishment, right? Because some people like to say, well, if you don't have free will, then you can't hold people accountable for their actions,
right?
Because they're not in charge, if you see what I mean. And I think that's a wrong view, because the threat of punishment is itself a conditioning factor. Like, parents know this, right? Like, you threaten a child with, like, certain consequences to their actions, that's going to influence their behavior. If you and then if the child, like, does the thing that you've told them not to, say punch their sister or whatever, and then you don't follow through with the punishment, then that also conditions their behavior, right? So you have to follow through if you want to condition people, right?
Yeah. Hey, Shiva, give me just a second. I got a phone call. One moment.
Sure. Welcome to the Shiva Show, everyone. Quick, boom, bomb. Sometimes, if only I did porn bomb people, that would be funny, wouldn't it? But I don't. So, Well, while he's doing that, any questions from the chat?
Sorry about that.
Oh, he's back. That was a very quick phone call.
Yeah.
You missed the porn bomb.
What'd I miss?
The porn bomb.
No way.
No, I'm joking.
I
didn't porn bomb you.
I know. I'm glad. I don't know. Were you here earlier this week, dude?
No.
Bro, I got fucking wrecked by a couple trolls, man. Grumple was there. He remembers.
I don't think. Do you know? I think I might have been porn bombed once. And I've been on YouTube like a few years now, and I've been streaming a few years. There was a period when I was streaming using Discord and OBS, and you can basically make it so that nobody can stream videos or display images. So that's you can get around, stop people porn bombing by that, but it's a bit more of a hassle.
We're getting some big ones in chat. Yeah, dude, Grumple, that was so bad, dude. Like, all right, so I was doing open panels for a while, and now like I have kind of a system on how I'm going to be able to like bring people I don't know up, right? But the first time it happened, someone had jumped into the backstage in StreamYard, and it like I typically just go cam up, and what it looked like it was just a dude sitting at his computer. So I brought him up, and the second I brought him up, dude, it was a video of some dude beating his dick. And so I had to take him down and then end the stream, and I ended up clipping it wrong, so I had to just delete.
So you actually clipped the porn bomb?
Yes. Yeah. So that was literally the entire video at that point, so I had to delete the whole video. But the thing is, I started a new stream within like 2 minutes, and I opened up StreamYard. And when I opened up StreamYard, my buddy Corey, he was in chat. He's still in chat. It looked like he jumped into backstage, and it had the same picture and the same name as Corey, spelled the exact same way.
Right.
And I brought him up. Boom, got me right in the beginning. I mean, it was awful, dude. And then they were just spamming all sorts of shit in chat and like trying to, dude, it was a mess.
Mate, if you ever do open panels again, what I suggest is you just have like a full screen image that you use as an overlay, which you can like. It seems like you're paying for StreamYard because I can't see the logo, so
I'm paying for it.
Yeah, so you can just upload images. Yeah, like. Although, Grok, come on.
Man, look, dude, look. So most of the images that I had on like had as backgrounds at one point, like this one, or no, not this one. Sorry, this is a bad example.
That's a weird combination: American flag and what? Crusaders?
Yes,
soldiers.
Yeah. I like it. Town Hall. This is one that I got from ChatGPT. But yeah, so a bunch of the images that I've gotten were from ChatGPT, and then the image generator just like stopped working for me. Like it won't generate any images for me anymore.
Right.
So now that one was the pug one was just me trying to get like, just try out different image generators. And then this one that I have here in the background, this one, the God and Country ones that I have, those are all Leonardo AI. Really, really solid. I like Leonardo.
Do you know how to use Photoshop?
No, I don't. I wish I did.
There's because I was going to say there's a website you can use called Photopea.
There he is. What's going on, Chris Terry? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How about you?
Doing good. Shiva, what were you saying though, bro?
Yeah, I'll just say this and then I'll jump down and you can have your Chris Terry experience. There's a website called Photopea, which I don't know up to what version it emulates, but it's like a Photoshop emulator. So that can be quite a good, like it's got most of the functions that you would find in Photoshop itself. There's a kind of creative exercise that I used to like to do, which was every day I'll just spend like up to half an hour making an image. Like
really?
Kind of, just like grabbing random shit off the internet, slapping it into Photoshop, manipulating it, monkeying around with it, and then like just kind of just as a little kind of artistic creative like thing to do. Yeah, GIMP is good too.
I'd like to learn how to use that for sure.
YouTube or AI. You know what AI is really great for? It's excellent for making bespoke tutorials. So if you want to, so like if you want to learn, like, so for example, when I was building my PC, I basically got Chat GPT to write me a bespoke tutorial for where to plug all the wires into the motherboard that I'd bought, like, which was a lot easier than trying to look it up online or go on YouTube and look for a tutorial. So, like, if you're, say, wanting to learn something like Photoshop or GIMP or Photopea, maybe kind of pick what you want to do, and then ask a chatbot to write you a tutorial giving you step-by-step instructions on how to do what it is that you're wanting to learn.
Okay. I'll definitely look into it, dude. I'd love to learn how to use, like, to really use good image software. You know what I mean? Because right now I'm pea brain, so I just type in, this is what I want to see, and then whatever comes up, I just use it. I'm letting the computer hive mind take over. So
all right. Well, thanks for having us up. Remember, guys, God isn't real. It's probably going to be fine.
Thanks, Shiva. I appreciate you, man. Have a great day, bro. What's going on, Chris Terry? How's it going?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Glad to hear it, man.
Yeah. So I know you were on the channel yesterday, man, and I kind of, I shared some things, man, I know you probably don't agree with. Yeah. What is your opposition?
I don't think race is important at all. I don't think race has anything to do with anything. That's my biggest thing. It's like I think, like, this focus on melanin in the skin and skin color it's just a means to more division instead of really bringing people closer to God so we can all find the kingdom after we die. It's just something to divide us.
Now, I'll be honest, man. I think when people start saying skin color, I think that is, the first thing is you're minimizing truly what's trying to be said, and it could also be used as deflection. Because nobody's saying, hey, go in there and let's do a melanin count and determine if you get in the kingdom. But God is always, first of all, God is the one who gave distinct people groups, which we call ethnicities. Is that fair?
I mean, I don't necessarily know that. It doesn't say that anywhere in the Bible. I would say a lot of that comes from, like, geography, right?
That is very interesting. So walnut, pecan, you think these things just shrummed up on the scene?
No, they didn't shrum up, but, like, from where they lived for millennia, our skin adapted to that, right?
Oh, okay, so you're telling me that with the fact that tiger lives in the jungle, lion lives in the savannah, so because they live in two different habitats, God didn't create both? Or because lion lives on land and a whale lives in the ocean, God didn't create both?
But I mean, that's the reason those animals exist the way they do, is because of the habitats.
True, but did God create both is the point.
Yeah, God created both.
So then likewise, just because we look a little different, to say that God didn't create one or he's not behind it, I think that's not fair.
But not necessarily. So, like, okay, so let's say whales started to, like, move on to land, right? Like, hypothetically, right? This is obviously not, this is not me saying that, like, whales could possibly do that. But let's say at some point during history, whales started to move onto land. Would they not develop methods on how to traverse land, or they would not move on to land, right?
I do understand that concept, but since we have not seen that in the 7,000 years of recorded history, I don't accept it. I understand the principles. I don't agree that can even happen.
But that's what I'm saying, right? So in order for whales to move on to land, they would have to develop some mechanism in order to do that, right?
Correct.
So based on where they are, they have adapted to that environment.
Or, well, you say they adapted. I say God created them for that environment. I think God created the birds to fly. I don't think they adapted, said, hey, let me find, get up high, and then I'll figure out how to fly. No, I think God created them to fly, which is just totally different.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
And it's not arguing. I'm just saying the difference.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Bro, I'm gonna have a good faith conversation with you here. I am not gonna be shitty. I'm not gonna by the way, I do want to clear this up, okay? So when I said corn bomb, I was not calling you a name. What I was saying, all right, then just for instance, earlier this week, okay, someone, it's porn bomb, PORN, right? Someone came up onto my panel and started playing a video of a dude beating his dick. So I had to shut my stream down, right? So I didn't know who you were. It was sketching me out, and even still, bro, I got hit with somebody earlier this week. So I just want you to know, I was not calling you a name. I was afraid that you were going to do that, jump up onto stream and play some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's all that means.
Yeah, there's no problem, man. But it was actually kind of funny, but I didn't take any offense to it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so back to these scriptures, man. I believe that God gave us the different nations that he separated in Genesis 10. Most people refer to that as the table of nations, but regardless of whether you call it, I think that God did that. And so I don't think we just kind of went to one area, one person got dark, the other person got light. I don't believe this. I think based upon where we were, we're created a certain type of way.
Okay, so I will say this. I'm not a biblical scholar, so when it comes to scripture, with my Bible study, you're witnessing how much of the Bible I'm reading. So if you're going to reference scripture, I'm gonna have to look at it and talk about it. Yes, N-word. Yes. This is Chris Terry. He is not actually he wasn't gonna bomb the stream. He was serious. He wanted to come up, and I apologize for not giving you that. I actually saw him in JS's chat yesterday, so I was like, "Oh, bro, we got to have this conversation then." Yeah.
So, okay. So your idea is that God made everybody as just one big love soup. Is that fair?
Well, I mean, we all come from the same two people, right?
Yeah, but he's clearly made distinctions along the way. So even, I'm sure to whatever level you do understand the Bible, you can clearly see that he was making a chosen. He was. Let me say, how do I say that? He was perfecting a seed in the earth, a chosen seed. Is that fair?
Yeah. And the Israelites, but I mean, we all still come from the same two people.
We came from the same two people, but we're not all chosen.
Okay, that's fine.
We're not all chosen now. Okay, so if you understand that, and I promise, I'm not trying to even be braggadocious. So whoever these people are, God said that they will be above all the nations on the earth. So where it's not all the same. And when we read through the Old Testament, we'll see time and time again that the promises God gave, he was giving it to those people. He didn't just say, oh, this is for everybody. And I say that not because you did, but because a lot of times people will go back and they'll show all the promises in the Old Testament, but that's not who they said it was for. That makes sense. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, so I would say there's plenty of argument that the Israelites are above all nations. They own the currency of the world, right?
Well, I don't take it that those people are the true Israelites of the Bible.
Okay, so I'd like to hear that. Yeah, for sure.
But let's go to Revelations 2:9.
Okay. Revelations 2:9, you said?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Sorry, bro. All right. Revelations 2:9. I know your tribulation and your poverty, but you are rich, and the slander of those who say that they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Do not fear what you are about to suffer. Behold, the devil is about to throw some of you into prison, that you may be tested, and for 10 days you will have the tribulation. Be faithful until death, and I will give you the crown of life. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. The one who conquers will not be hurt by the second death.
Okay.
That's 9 to 11. But yeah.
Very good. 9 to 11, no problem. So we see here, I know thy works and tribulation. Well, tribulation is distress. It's extreme distress, trouble, and poverty. Now, you just, before we even read the scripture, you were just about to tell me how they own everything. That's called wealth and control. But God was speaking to his people and said they're in tribulation, and not only distress, oppression, and so forth, they're also in poverty. So they don't have much. But
so what's the church of Smyrna? Sorry, go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to. I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No problem. I think that this is because most people understand Book of Revelations. It just is. It has to be revealed. So there's a mystery to it. But when we look at this in context, the whole premise is Christ had to identify that, hey, my people are in tribulation and poverty. They're in tribulation and poverty, right? And he had to affirm that we are actually, even though we're in the natural in tribulation and poverty, that we still, there's a richness there. And you say, well, what richness? Well, we can look at Romans 3. Okay, they were committed to oracles, Romans 9, covenants, promises, so forth. So we're rich in a lot of different ways, but not in the natural. We don't own and run the world. So the whole premise is with here is that Christ had to let you know that a certain people group are not the Jews. Now, I'll be honest, most people don't think that I'm an Israelite. So this wouldn't be for me. But most people believe that those people over there are the Israelites. So it would make sense that this would be applying to them, that they would have to, right, that they are not Jews, but are of the synagogue of Satan, to be truthful.
Well, so to my question then, so when in that revelation, it was saying that was the message to the church of Smyrna. What's the church of Smyrna?
That's one of the 7 churches that Christ spoke to. And so I don't think that this is literal. I really don't. I don't think this was something from back then and not now. I think it's dual prophecy, if I can say it like that.
Okay.
Right. Just like there was from. If you're familiar with the Babylon, just real quickly, the Babylon from Nebuchadnezzar in Daniel's time, but then Revelation is still talking about a Babylon. Is that fair?
Yep.
Chapter 7, 18. So yeah, so it's similar to that. And actually, we got Egypt all the way back in Exodus, and then but Revelation is still talking about a spiritual Egypt. So I think this is certainly one of those situations.
So wait. So we're not talking about like mainland Egypt in Revelation?
No, the Bible says that it actually, I think if I'm not mistaken, it calls it a spiritual Egypt. I can look for it real quick, but
yeah.
So I would just
just know, Chris, when you bring up scripture, if you can like point to the exact verse, so I can look at it myself, because like I said, I'm not biblically scholarly at any degree.
No problem. So if we go to Revelations 11 and 8.
Okay. All right. 11:8.
Now this will give credence to Babylon. Just 1 second. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So we're just showing you that, hey, whether you think this is in Christ's time or you think it happens now, this was still way after both Sodom and Egypt were blazed off the face of the earth. But it's still being referred to. Similarly, the Bible's talking about this end-day Babylon, but you and I both know there's no physical location on the earth that's called Babylon, but it has Babylon attributes.
Yeah, but so the way I read this when I see it is he's saying the great city that you know, in yours it says spiritually, and this one it says symbolically, is called Sodom, and then also talking about Egypt afterwards, because Sodom was a city, Egypt is a country.
Okay.
So
if we read this whole
that would
thing,
be my only retort to that, right?
Yeah, but if we were to read this, we would see that this is an end time revelation, which I don't want to do just in the interest of time, is to kind of stay on focus. But if we were to read the 11th chapter of Revelation, you'll see that this is an end time situation. So this is not talking about anything that happened in Genesis and Exodus.
I mean, hey, dude, I'll be honest with you. I agree. I believe that there's, you know, and this is just like my own thing, but I believe there's like a large catastrophic event coming. I think it's going to be necessary for the world to kind of come together a little bit. But I think what it seems like is, from your perspective, it's going to be more of like a shifting of power. And I guess maybe this is just naive optimism, but I would say, if anything, it's going to bring people together and unify us.
Oh, okay. And I'll state my position, but what leads you to believe that?
Well, because the thing that brings people together the most and has historically is tragedy.
Okay. So based on that alone,
I would say, yeah.
Okay. So when Christ came to earth, he came to his people. Is that fair? Which were the Jews.
Well, I mean, when Christ came to earth, Christ came as God, and his people is everyone on the planet, right? Like when he died on the cross, he died on the cross to save everyone, not just any specific people. Like God did choose the Israelites in the Old Testament, but Jesus died for everybody.
Well, that's very interesting you would say that. But historically, he came through the bloodline of Judah, and he was living in Judea, where primarily, I'm not saying that you couldn't find a stranger here or there, but primarily the Jews lived there.
Yeah.
Okay, so he came to his people, and when he came there, he wasn't telling them, hey, go share the love of God to everyone. He told them, don't go the way of the Gentiles, don't deal with them. Of course, the woman asked for her daughter to be healed. He said, no, I can't give this blessing to a dog, basically. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just saying, why this man, if he was so about breaking the backbone of this racial divide, why it seemed like he was more so solidifying it.
Can you run that by me one more time?
So when Christ came, if his ultimate mission was to bring all nations together, I would ask you, why didn't he begin instituting it? I mean, there are just so many examples where we see where Christ was not going to non-Israelites. He was only going to the house of Israel by his own admission. So why wouldn't he be doing what his...
That's where he was, wasn't he?
That's where he was, but he told them, don't even go to the way of the Gentiles. Don't even go that way. Stay away from them.
Where does he say that?
No problem. I'll come back to that. I'll tell you right now. That's where it is. Matthew 10 and 5. Now, this is the start. When you get there, you'll see this is a start that Christ was sending the 12 disciples out. So this has been a great time to go ahead and start, instituting this mission of bring all races together.
All right, so go nowhere among the Gentiles and enter no town of the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and proclaim as you go, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, go cast out demons. You received without paying, give without pay. Require no gold or silver or copper for your belts, no bag for your journey, or no tunics or sandals or a staff, for the laborer deserves his food. In whatever town or village you enter, find out who is worthy in it, and stay there until you depart. As you enter the house, greet it. If the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And if anyone will not receive you or listen to your words, shake off the dust from your feet. And when you leave that house or town, truly I say to you, it will be more bearable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah more than for that town. So my question would be, right, like, so in Exodus, they allow people from outside. Hey, what's going on, Bear? Give me just a moment. I'm having a conversation with Chris Terry. Would be happy to have you up in just a minute, though, brother. Yeah. I get it. I'm interested in reading it, but so what I would say is, you know, they say that people are allowed to enter to Israel, right? Like, because back then it was less of like a landmass and more of, you know, kind of a nation of people, right? Like it was a group of people, a couple million, if I remember correctly, and people were allowed to join Israel, correct, from foreign nations, right? So Gentile just meant people that weren't Israel, right? Like foreign nations, correct?
For the most part, certainly more so in the Old Testament.
So when did that change?
Well, it is my contention that many times when Gentiles was used in the New Testament, it is referring to. Are you aware that the nation split?
Yeah. Okay. The 12 tribes. Yeah.
Great. There you go. They split. So basically, Judah and Benjamin and partially Levi, they became the Jews, and then what we call the lost 10 tribes. We call them lost because they left. Yeah. Okay. So when Christ came, he only came to two, maybe 3 tribes. Well, what about the other 9 or 10? Did he not love them anymore? Was his covenant broken with them? No. And so, but they had been separated for about 9, and you can literally just Google this. How long had they been separated to the time of Christ? 900 some odd years. They had been separated, and they began living like other nations. Then they began serving other gods, such and so forth, customs and heritage and all that, living riotously. And the Jews remained at home, so they're thinking they're all good. You know this, they had a very pious, self-righteous, sanctimonious attitude. Hey, we're still here. We've been following the law. We've been doing X, Y, and Z, so forth. And then Christ comes along and he's trying to say, hey, yeah, you've been here, but you don't have everything right. Let me show you, let me help you with this doctrine. They just would not receive it. But the fact that they stayed there keeping the law, doing the Passover, doing the feasts and all this other stuff. But the other nation was scattered abroad after the Syrian captivity.
But they were still under the house of Israel, right? Like
they were considered the house of Israel in terms of they knew who they were. But I think it's in Romans, Romans, where it corroborates Hosea, where in the book of Hosea, after that split, God said he would no longer be the northern, not the southern, not the Jews, but the northern. Hope I'm not talking too fast. But to the northern kingdom, he told them he would no longer be their God and he would no longer be their people. And this was the perspective of the self-righteous Jews at that time. Oh, they're no longer our people. They knew who they were, but they weren't accepted as God's people. Okay.
So we're talking about different groups of Jews that went to different parts of the world.
Well, Jew, see, when you say the word Jew, I hear Southern Kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. When you say Jew, you hear all 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
Now, the Jews are a part of Israel, but again, we got 9, 10 other tribes to deal with. If that makes sense. So they're part of Israel, but the other 9, 10 tribes, And so to make that distinction, I'll call them the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. So the southern kingdom, the Jews, they got it. Christ came there. So did God forget about the other 10 tribes of Israel?
I'm not quite sure. I haven't read that far into the Bible. I'd love to definitely get up to that point and see what it says, like in its full context.
Yeah, I think when you do, it might change your perspective, because there's a lot of prophecies that God would have had to honestly lie about, because the promise was that these two nations are going to come back to one. So he's going to go to non-Israelites to bring them back together. No, it would have to go to them first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the main thing I had contention with was when I heard you and JS's thing, is you were talking about how, people of European descent are going to end up being enslaved to the real Israelites, right?
Okay. Yes.
So where, if we're talking about how the 12 tribes or people from the tribes left, hold on, Israel and Judea separate in 1 Samuel, 12 tribes divided into 2 kingdoms. Okay. So are we talking about people who are of the tribes that moved into Europe, or are we talking about like everyone from European descent?
Oh, you said the tribes that moved into Europe?
Yeah.
You mean like the Israelites?
I guess so. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what their movement was, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, so this northern tribe, so they initially separated and they went into the Assyrian captivity. That you can prove that. It won't take you but a couple clicks, right?
I believe
now. But before then, they went into another captivity. Are you aware of what captivity that was?
No.
Okay. The northern kingdom went into another captivity to the Greeks.
Okay.
Now this, if you believe that, and again, that Google will prove that to you. Now, of course, the Bible will, but I'm just saying it'll show you where to go to find that. That's easily provable that during the Apocryphal and so other books that they went into the captivity to the Greeks. Now, and Greek was one of the first nations to force you to call yourself Greek, even though your nationality or ethnicity was something. For instance, the Israelites went into captivity to the Egyptians.
Oh, hey, hold up real quick, Chris. You kind of broke up a little bit. You still there? Hello? I don't know if you're talking, bro. I can't hear you. Chris. We lost him. I hear the mic getting fumbled on, but I can't hear you talking if you're talking.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you.
I was trying to get to a different. Okay, Okay. So, the Greeks forced, and this term is called Hellenization. Type that into Google right now, pull it up, you'll see Hellenization, where they were forced to speak the language and call themselves Greeks.
Yeah, the Hellenistic period is what they call that.
There you go. So, and it wasn't just the Israelites. And so, and this is how they began to be called Greeks, and then therefore Gentiles. Okay, so now, and I'm saying that was one of the first, if not the very first nation to begin to do that, because even though the Israelites were living in Egypt, they weren't forced to call themselves Egyptians. They knew who they were. Even though they were in captivity to Babylon, they weren't called Babylonians. But in the Greek captivity, that's where that really began. So after 900, almost 1,000 years, even up until the time of Christ, through these different captivities, again, serving other gods, living riotously. You know, you are familiar with the Greek Empire. It was pretty raunchy, to say the least. Right?
Yeah.
I want to get to specific. Okay. And
Yeah,
really
yeah,
living
yeah.
like
Men and boys and shit like that. Fucking
Come
crazy.
on. You know what I'm saying? So we're doing
Yeah.
all this old crazy stuff, and you got these self-righteous Jews. They didn't want to have anything to. There was hatred, complete dissension, a disassociation between the northern and southern kingdom.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. So that's kind of what, if that makes sense, to build a backbone. So, but now then this name Greek and Gentile would kind of seem to be like fit perfectly, where Paul is trying to go get these people and tell them, hey, listen. And then the Jews got upset. Why? Because they said, hey, those are not our people. It's not for them. But he had to bridge this gap.
Okay. So, all right, I see where you're coming from that. I guess I'm still not connecting the dots on why people from Europe, just in general, would like the people who descended from these folks over, what is that, like 30, 40, 50 generations, why they would be subject to slavery from God for something they had nothing to do with, even if they did devote their life to spreading the word of Jesus Christ.
Wow, that's a great question. We can find many Israelites who live righteously, but due to the sins of their fathers, had to endure captivity and slavery. Is that fair?
I mean, it's happening in North Korea right now.
Okay, so then if you can see that, then, and we can prove it with names and figures, like Daniel was living righteously. Why was he in captivity for 70 years under 4 different rulers? He was living righteously. Oh man, one of the best ones has to be the Messiah. Messiah was born in captivity.
Yeah.
They were captive under the Romans. This is the Messiah. If you think he's God, wow, he was still born in captivity.
Yeah, but God put him here.
Exactly. So God does it. That's my point. Here, that's out of my reach, out of your reach. But God judges nations, and he will judge many nations later. It's just like this.
Yeah. I mean,
okay,
there's an argument that, Europe is being judged right now with this influx of people that's going in there,
Yeah,
because,
but I think the judgment I'm talking about won't be sketchy. It won't be hard to determine. And I'm saying that pursuant to how the scriptures describe this last day judgment that have to. So I'll be honest. I believe if you're European, I believe you're an Edomite based upon the Bible.
Okay.
I believe you're the nation of Edom, pursuant to the characteristics and attributes and even the actions that Edom would take. Nobody else really fits that description.
Okay.
And if that's the case, then the Bible says at the end of the day, this is the first. Now, all heathen will be judged, but it says that Edom has to get it the worst.
So, yeah, we'll be judged, but what does that necessarily mean, right? Like what does that entail? Does it say that specifically?
Okay, so you would say that you didn't take me into captivity. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. But do you benefit from what your people did over the last 400 or 500 years in this land? Do you benefit every single day?
Yeah, so does everybody else that lives here.
Well, really?
Yes.
So you think the way you benefit and the way I benefit is identical?
I didn't say that. I said everyone that lives here benefits off of it, though.
Well, that could be your perception, but by your admission, we don't benefit the same way. And I would dare say it's not even close. Because I'll be honest.
I didn't say we benefit. I didn't say we benefit in the same way, but we both benefit. right?
I'll be honest, you've never been concerned driving down the street when the police pulls up behind you. You've never,
Okay.
it's never crossed your mind.
That's fine, but you have a car. That's a
Okay,
benefit
so-
of what people before us have done, especially in this country.
No. I'm talking about rights and privileges. So let me be clear. Captivity does not mean
Okay,
that
okay, Chris. What I'm trying to elucidate here is you're moving the goalpost now, because you're asking me if I benefit from it. Yes, so does everyone else that lives here. So if we're gonna take one specific thing, we have to talk about one specific thing. A bit like there are numerous benefits to living in America, no matter what your skin color is. So if we're gonna move the goalpost, let's like find somewhere to leave it so we can talk about the same thing while we're talking.
And
You know
that's
what I mean?
that's exactly what I'm going to do right now, conclusively, and I won't have to move it. So you just talk about a car. No, that's not what I'm referring to. So the Bible refers to a captivity when you don't have your land. You don't have a piece of land that is yours. Just like Chinese man can go to China, a Somalian man can go to Somalia, such and so forth. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Czechoslovakian man can get back over there to his people. Ukraine, whatever. You don't have a land. Where is my land? I don't have a language. We can go back to these people. They have languages, dialects to this very day. You don't have a land, language, heritage, customs, such and so forth. And you don't have power. I don't have a military. We don't have any such thing. Because remember, the Jews weren't although they were in captivity to Rome, they weren't like chained up in a prison. They could walk, buy, trade, sell, but they didn't have power to rule and reign. Right, and
most
that's
people
what
here
I'm referring
don't.
to. Right, because I'll be honest, it's the time for Edom to rule. That's why you guys control much of what's going on in the world, way over 50%. And we can just throw out figures, but we could just pick any industry, any system, government.
Wait. Aren't you American, Chris?
I was born here, kind of similarly like Paul called himself Roman, but he still identified as an Israelite. Same way.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So what I'm saying is though, like, where does your lineage come from?
There we go. That's another thing too, by the way, that would help to corroborate. The Israelites were the only people that were prophesied to have their heritage, identity, customs, lineage stolen.
Okay.
So that's just and that's in Jeremiah 14:2, I think. So that's clearly there. So I know my heritage pursuant to, and this is where JS he kind of has a discrepancy, and that's fine. He may not see it, but Deuteronomy 28 describes a captivity. It doesn't just say slavery. There are specifications to what that slavery would look like. Very detailed accounts. And no one other nation on the earth says, hey, I've been through that. But when I read through that, you know what I see? I see everything I've learned through my existence here on earth. Everything I've learned about the history of my people.
Okay. So that's what I'm asking though, is like when you say your people, who exactly are you talking about?
I would be who you would consider African American.
Yeah, see, I don't buy into that. Like, if you were born here, you were raised here, you speak perfectly fine English, like you're an American. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing with this particular country is it's and by the day it's growing more diverse, right? So that's the thing that I guess where we break off is like you're saying that people of European descent, even though we have denounced Europe, like and luckily we're not Europe, right? Like I can't just go back to what like the country that a large piece of my bloodline comes from Spain. If I went to Spain, I'd be shit out of luck. I wouldn't have any way to speak the language. I don't know Spanish. I wouldn't have, the opportunity for dual citizenship. I'm an American. I speak English. I love this country. Like I'm an American citizen, right? And I look at you the exact same way. Like I understand that there's a lot of people who have made you feel like, you're less than an American citizen, but you're not. You're just as much of an American citizen as everyone else, right? So
I would disagree with that, but real quickly, you just said a couple things. You said I live here and I'm an American. Well,
yes.
God deals with ethnicities. You keep talking about skin color, feel free to, it's no problem. But I'm referring to what God does, which is ethnicity, who you are, your bloodline lineage of people. All right. So just because I live here in America does not make me an American. First of all, that you don't find America in the Bible.
Correct. Yes.
So the people groups that live in the Bible still live today, just under different names.
Well, kind of. I mean, like when we established this country, we like broke away from slavery that was going on for thousands of years. We developed an entire new system to get away from the worship of kings. We broke free of a lot of bonds when we established this country. Right. Okay. So like the establishment of America in and of itself is a denouncing of the European.
Okay. See, there again, you think you can, I can't denounce, I can deny it, but I can't denounce the fact that if I'm an Israelite or whatever, or if a Chinese man can come over here live for 1,000 years, he's still going to be Chinese. It's just that simple. So it doesn't matter where you live. But there again, I'm just trying to make that correlation between Greece.
I mean, to you, maybe. To you,
between
there's
Greece
lots
and
of people that move here from other countries and they are Americans, right? So if identification is key to this, then I'm not European. I've never been to Europe. I don't know anything about Europe. I don't want to live like anyone in Europe. Those are people who were run by like incestuous royal families for fucking hundreds of years. So, I'm like, that has nothing to do with me or the way I live, right?
I would disagree because there again, well, let me make this quick correlation because yet again,
I've never ever heard anyone tell me they disagree with what, like, the way I consider. What are you disagreeing with? Like, please.
Well, I'm gonna hit it right on the head. But first, I just want to make this quick correlation. Just like Greece and Rome. You think just because I live in America, I now should call myself American when that's clearly not my heritage nor my bloodline lineage.
I'm not telling you what you should do at all. I'm telling you the way I see it, right?
The way you see it. So just like your Greek and Roman brothers and sisters before you think that just because you live in a land and you call it a different name, that now people living in that land, that's their identity, and that's not the case. And notice too, I'm speaking English. Whatever language I was speaking before I came over here, I'm not speaking now, me nor my people. And that is a major thing. And as you know, Hellenization, that is a major part of Hellenization, forcing people to speak another language. And you and I both know that my people were forced to speak another language. We were speaking another language. And we were forced. So I'm just trying to show you some correlations. Now I can come back and tell you what you're asking me now, why I disagree with the whole American. Now that I'm American, I can go a little bit further, but I just want to show you some correlations between the Greeks and Romans. My brother, you have the same nature now. That what you're telling me to me makes no sense. Just because I live over, I go
see, that's the thing though. That's the difference, right? I'm not telling you what you should believe.
Okay,
like you can believe whatever the fuck you want. Dude, you believe you're a real Israelite, right?
Okay,
like that's fine. I'm not even going to argue that, But what I'm saying is, like, I'm not telling you what you should believe. You're going to believe whatever you want to believe. I'll respect even what you believe. Bear, do you have me on Discord?
Can you reach out to me on Discord? I did reach out to you on Discord.
No, I was talking to Bear. No, you did. Yeah,
my bad.
You did. Oh, you're good, man. Yeah. But I'm not telling you what you should believe. I'm not even telling you to, succumb to the customs of America. I think for the benefit of the nation in itself, yes, 100%. That's late. Like everyone kind of, assimilating into the culture of a nation is best for the nation, but I'm not telling you what you should do, right?
It's too late. I'm already here. My people already call themselves African American, Negro, Black, just a variety of names. It's too late. We've already succumbed to it. We already speak the language we have. We're Americanized, so to speak. It's too late. So I don't. Yeah. So now, if I'm not saying you're forcing me to have your thoughts. I'm saying the mere fact that you think like that. That you think that just because I live over here, I should be American and do what you claim you have done and disconnect from your natural heritage over in Europe. I don't think that that's possible just because you live in a different land.
Even like after blood has been spilled to do that, like
explain what you mean by that. I want to make sure.
Bro, but we kicked the shit out the Brits, man. We sent them packing. You know what I mean?
But that's still your lineage, though.
So?
Okay, so that.
And but by that logic, then like what? So I'm Spaniard and from the UK. I don't know exactly where. Probably all over the fucking UK. That's where my bloodline comes from. Okay. What do they have to do with Greek and Roman?
Well, most of the people between the Greek and Roman culture were European. So at one point or another, the Germans, the Italians, the British, you guys come out of one sector or the other through one of those, either Greece or Rome, if not both.
Not necessarily, because the Romans tried to attack the UK and the Vikings whooped them.
Right. Okay. Would you consider yourself Caucasian?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So I believe that the Caucasians are the Edomites, pursuant to several scriptures and passages in the Bible that explain these people who lived in the clefts of the rocks that has a particular nature.
Yeah, they were back then. But I mean, like, like you even said by yourself, like, if the tribes of Israel can separate and people can like go different ways and live different ways, they're no longer Israelites. Why can't the Edomites, as you call them, why can't they do the same thing?
Well, here's the thing.
You said it yourself, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you're saying I can't separate myself from who I was, but yet the 10 tribes that became the lost tribes were no longer God's chosen people, were no longer chosen by God, right? So, I mean, if they can break off and live a different way and change who they were, why can't I? Why am I bound to being an Edomite when the tribes of Israel can no longer be chosen by God?
Well stated question. And for clarity, I don't think that they were any less of the tribes of Israel, but they had been disconnected, and for a period of time, God disconnected from them and no longer called them their people. But the prophecies are clear. That was only for a time. They would eventually be restored. And he didn't say that they would be any less Israelites because a certain amount of time, mind you, thousands of years have passed. He never said that. So likewise with you, and I don't think just a certain amount of time has passed that you're any less your biblical heritage.
Well, so hold on. So what you're saying is these people, even though they've separated, they would change their ways back to what it used to be and be restored, right? Like in order for them to be restored, they would have to capitulate to God's law, correct?
They would have to come back and receive the Messiah through God's law, absolutely. But now their national
identity...
So
if we don't do that, if I don't go back to the old, like let's just say Greek and Roman, right? If I don't go back to the old Greek and Roman ways of like having gay sex and, doing things with kids and all that fucking debauchery, right? Then I'm not restored into that.
Okay. He just said something so good. I was trying to speak on it. Oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. But I'm with you though.
Yeah. I just here's my thing, brother. Here's my thing. So all I really want to say is like when I say you're an American, we can agree that at least conceptually you are, right? Now you want to add the delineations onto it, and that's fine. And I'm not like chastising you. I'm not saying you're wrong. You can do whatever the fuck you want, right? But when I say you're an American, whether or not the government acts in a specific way, to me that has no bearing on who you are as a person. Does that make sense? Because like for me, right, I know, and I'm sure me and you can both agree, the government has done fucking terrible things to people. I'm sure we can agree on that. Chris?
I would agree.
Yeah.
You can hear me.
No, I can hear you now. So, and there's citizens who have done terrible things to people. I don't think anybody is arguing that, right? But today, we're in a different time contextually. I mean, if anything, like, you know, we could even say, we could go as far as to say, like, we've denounced the actions of our own country. Most people have. I'm not saying there isn't, like, you know, people out there that advocate for slavery or advocate for, you know, G-side or, you know, advocate for really fucking dumb shit, eugenics and all that. It's true. It happens. You know what I mean? There's stupid people out there. I agree 100%. But I think, like, the denouncing of evil, the rebuke, the rebuking of it, and the falling into, I don't want to say falling into necessarily, but the chase for Jesus Christ and the chase for God is something that's very, very, very important. I feel like that means a lot more than the actions of my ancestors.
And I understand why you could believe that. That's what you've been taught through European Christianity. But when we start digging into the Bible says something different. So really quick, I just want to just kind of close the tabs. We were talking about, you were saying that, you know, your people, you've been separated, you denounce them, this and so forth, and you make that correlation to the Hebrews, the Northern Kingdom in the Bible, and you were trying to tell me that they were no longer Israelites. That's not my stance. I think they were still Israelites, whether or not they received salvation or not. See, whether or not they came back to the laws and accepted Christ determined their salvation. But it did not determine their nationality. They were still 100% Israelites. Likewise, I think you, Lord Glass, I don't know your real name, I think you are still an Edomite. Even though you denounce, you over here 1,000 years, you change your attitude. Now, some of what you're saying sounds good. I think it's a good start. But I'll be truthful. Whoever the true Israelites, according to the prophecy, if you like to see it, will have to cleave to Israel. They will have to worship at the feet of Israel, not just the Messiah. And that's even through the book of Revelation. So I know you don't want to go down too many different lanes, but your earthly identity, lineage, bloodline lineage still matters. God has always judged ethnicities. The Hittites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, of course the Israelites, the Ishmaelites. We can do this all day. He judged nations. He didn't say, well, you won. When he's ready to make a judgment, he will judge the whole nation. Same with Israel.
But when he says nation, is he talking about specific ethnicities or is he talking about nations?
Well, that word, and not every situation, but a lot of those words, yeah, it'll be very clear because the word is ethnos, where we get the word ethnicity from.
Yeah,
it's not just the kingdom. And so similarly, again, let's look at our brother Paul. You know him very well. Roman, called himself a Roman citizen. But he said, no, I'm a Hebrew of Hebrews. Make no mistake about this thing. I know my earthly identity, bloodline lineage. Yeah, because that's what he identified with, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, you would call yourself an African American or an Israelite, right? Like, I get that, and I'm not going to deny you being able to do that. It's, God gave you that, right? But I also have the ability to denounce the people where I came from. I don't live like them. I don't talk like them. Yes, 100%.
I don't live
So
like
if you
them.
do
I
a
don't talk
DNA
like
test,
them.
what would it say?
What happened?
You trust DNA tests for the most part, give or take?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay, so I mean, your DNA test will tell you exactly where you come from. It wouldn't say America. If you go back far enough, it'll tell you exactly.
Well, if you go back far enough, but my DNA is my own DNA. So there's other DNAs that led to the creation of mine, but my DNA is purely American.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I don't know how much time you have. This is one question I definitely want to ask you, so let me go in and ask you, and then we can go from there.
I got roughly about like 2.5 hours, bro. So we got time.
Okay, so if your people came here to this land, they did it in a savage manner. It was not credulous by any means, and I don't think God was pleased with it. And you live in the benefit of it. You don't think you should partake in the judgment of it?
Well, don't you live in the benefit of it too?
No. I don't run and control anything. I don't have my land. I don't have my language. I don't have my military. I don't have my such.
I don't run and control shit.
But your people do, and you directly.
But who are my people, though? There's no sense of unity to me and my people. See, I think that's where we're diverging here. Is like, you know, you have this concept of your people, but like my people have no allegiance to me, right? Like my people are the folks that are around me, and I'm not blood related to any of them, and it's a pretty varied bag when it comes to like the ethnicity of the people that I surround myself with.
Okay.
So like that's where my allegiance is, right? Like those are my people. My people are not. That's the thing. See, and this is okay. So this is something that I will comment on. So I will say, I do understand that typically when it comes to, you know, what you would like to call African Americans, you guys in general, like there's specific instances, of course, that doesn't necessarily track, but in general, you guys have an allegiance to each other, right? And like you would vote for black causes, you would vote for, you know, things that would benefit the black people, right? Am I wrong there? Like I don't think I'm off base.
Oh, I'm listening. I want to understand your full premise first, and then I'll answer any question. But I'm listening.
Yeah. So if let's just say that we had someone in office who was saying WASPy people are going to be on top. WASPy people are going to get all of the benefits of society. They're not going to struggle. They're not going to have any of these issues. And then everyone else would suffer. I have no fucking allegiance to that. Okay? I don't. Because WASPs are not my people. Right?
Okay, I think that's what we're kind of.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of like trying to delineate here. Like, I think that's the issue is, you know, like we have different concepts of what my people are, especially in America. Especially in America, like we're not unified under an idea of like this is where we come from. Like I don't have ethnic pride. I think it's something that's tribal. It's something that does nothing but like divide people. You know, for me, I have allegiance to my people in the sense of the folks around me in my local community, right? Like I try to keep things like as local as possible, you know, where, and I understand that there's grievance where you're coming from, you know what I mean? But to me, it's much like even on like a national stance, right? Like I have allegiance to the nation, and to me, the nation is two things: a landmass where people govern things, right? Like I guess three things. Sorry. So landmass, people, governance. You know what I mean? Those are the three things that make up a nation. Nothing to do with ethnic, nothing to do with anything. So if I were to say my people, I mean the American people. I mean everyone who was born here, who has, you know, American citizenship, right? Like that's that. When you say my people, you're talking about, you know, people hailing from Africa, or, you know, maybe one specific part of Africa. I'm not exactly sure. For me, it's everyone that's here, lives here, has citizenship here. You know,
and I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But is that a biblical, godly perspective that you have?
Not necessarily.
Well, sure it is, because let's look at Ruth the Moabitess. Now, although she lived with amongst Israel, if that's incorrect, I think you would agree, she was still consistently called Ruth the Moabitess. She was never called an Israelite. Although she said, your God, well, she has even accepted God. She said, your God will be my God and your people will be my people. But they still call her a Moabite. And that was godly. That was his provision.
Okay.
That's why, even if we look at the Old Testament law, there was one law for bloodline Israel and and a separate laws for non-Israelites who lived among Israelites.
Yeah. I get that.
So they never became one people, although they lived there. They say, okay, well, let's just all be Israelites. There was always a delineation between the two. And so you're telling me that you don't make any. Okay, so if you went out to dinner, let me ask you this question this way. If you went out to dinner, let's just say 10 of your family members, bloodline family members, right?
Okay.
Okay, we're going to treat you, you didn't have to pay a thing, right? But along the way, old grandpa, not trying to be funny, he slipped down the stairs, didn't make it, right? And then a good old Russian missile hit the other 7 of them. I don't know, whatever. But they didn't make it. Who would be?
Hold on. Sorry, dude. My dog's barking. Give me just a second. Sure. I apologize, bro. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, for sure. Go ahead.
All right, as you were saying, my bad, dude.
Okay. So 10. Let's keep it simple. 10 people, and for whatever reason they didn't make it. They all croaked at the table, right? Who would be left with the tab?
If they didn't make it, like they didn't show up.
No. Like if they got unalive. I made some silly scenarios because the scenarios are not important. But let's just say they all died and you were still there. Who would be left with the tab?
Nobody. Because I'm out of there.
You may not. You may think you can get away with it in that scenario. You may, but the reality is, it will be for you to pay.
Well, that is linear, right? So.
Is that fair? Well, I'm gonna show it to you in the Bible too. I just want to make sure you can see it in the natural. Now, you may be funny, which is funny. You say you'd be out of there, you wouldn't pay it. But the point is, the tab will be yours. Similarly, in the Bible, you say you didn't partake in it, but the mere fact that we were taken from a land and held captive here and never released properly, meaning according to biblical standards, which means you have to return the people with reparations to where you took them. That's the only way. It's not, and I can show that to you several times. You can't just say you're free. That's it. I free you. That won't work. That's not a biblical standard.
So at the time, what would be proper reparations then?
Honestly, proper reparations would be for you guys to return every bit of wealth you have and to go back to Europe.
Wait, what?
I'm just being truthful. That would be proper. Like, you guys got to go back to where you belong because you guys are occupying this land. And now, at least in America, you would agree that Europeans control it. Is that fair? I mean, we go to agriculture, we go to hospitalization, we go to pharmaceutical, we can go to transport, we can go to pick any industry system in America. European people are running it. Is that fair? That's not far-fetched, is it?
No, American people are running it.
Okay, also, but if we trace their bloodline DNA, they would be somewhere in Europe. Is that fair?
Do you know how many slaves actually got brought to North America versus like Central America, South America, and the Caribbean?
I think you're moving the goalposts, and I don't think you mean to do it, but the reality is,
I'm not moving the goalpost. I'm just asking a basic question.
Your people are controlling the Americas, and that's not right because this is not your land.
Who's my people?
The people well, let me say this, your biblical lineage. Let me say that because you don't want to call me your people. Now, on St. Patrick's Day, you don't mind going to the pub and drinking with them. But yeah, I'm talking about those people.
Okay.
Right?
My bloodline, right? Let's say my bloodline, people that are who like arguably aren't even in my bloodline, who I could have no connection to whatsoever, because I don't know of my people coming from Greece. I don't know if people are coming from Rome. I'm not Italian. I don't have any Italian blood. I come from, a bunch of like barbaric savages in the UK and Spain. Yes.
Yeah, but so your people were the Spanish people, conquistadors, and what they did in South America, there's no way that doesn't have to be. Now, but that doesn't have to be. There has to be a judgment for what happened to the savage. You, by your own admission, the savage nature of how they took the southern South America. There has to be some
judgment. How do you know there wasn't a judgment already?
Because the Bible outlines what that judgment would look like, and it won't be any such thing as you missed it. It won't be debatable.
Where does it say in the Bible that the Edomites are going to be judged?
Let's go there. That's why I said one thing I want to deal with. That's what I want to deal with, so you'll know. But
all
even
right.
as I for the first time, I just pulled up the online chat, because I was looking up scriptures, and I see people say, well, I knew he wanted reparations. I'm not asking you for any reparations. The reparations that are going to come will come by the hand of the Most High through his Son, whom we call Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Now, I'm not asking for you for reparations. I've never asked anybody for reparations, but the Bible says that it will happen, and let me show it to you.
I wasn't saying you were asking. I was saying what kind of reparations do you think would be due? That's all.
Honestly, it's going to be blood for blood, to be truthful, according to what the Bible says.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think that like all of the bloody evil wars and the like plagues and the like terrible things done to the citizenship over in Europe, you don't think that was judgment?
I do think it was judgment. It's not this ultimate judgment that will come at the end of days, where things will be restored. And so, like you said something earlier, and I already have this pulled up, so I won't lose focus. But
okay,
you said something earlier, like about the kingdom of Israel going back to Israel, and this is the thought that they had. If we go to Acts chapter 1, you will see the Israelites were asking Christ when he came back for that short period of time. They said, will you now restore the kingdom to Israel? They didn't say to the whole earth. They didn't say to everybody. They said love, love, love. They said because they knew they were going to get the kingdom, and the last ruling kingdom that will rule forever will be the Israelites ruling with the Messiah, not just anybody who says I love Jesus. But let's deal with it. Isaiah 14. You want to try chop it up a little bit?
Okay, I'm in Acts right now. I was reading through Acts 1, 6-9.
Yep.
Okay.
Take your time.
All right, keep going.
Okay. So Isaiah chapter 14. So I just want you to see that was their concept back then. This was not now they walked with the Messiah 3.5 years, whatever it was. And this was their ideology, learning from the man personally. This wasn't secondhand information. They learned from him directly. Why did they have this notion that they were going to get the kingdom next?
So Isaiah 14, what now?
Isaiah 14, we start at verse 1. For
Okay.
the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. Jacob will be the southern kingdom where we get the Jews from, and yet choose Israel. Why? Because he will bring these two nations back together. I'm going to show that to you really quickly as well. And set them in their own land. Why? Because they're not there now. So people living there now can't be it. The Balfour Declaration, how these people got over there in 1948, is not what this Bible is talking about. Another story for another day. But he will set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Okay, so again, the other nations will cleave to us, those who humble themselves to do so and realize who the true people of God are. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall do what? Shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. So there will be a role reversal. Let's keep going. And they shall take them captive. So you guys will become servants and handmaids, and we will take you captives, whose captives we were. We're still captives here because you guys never from a biblical. Now you may say, I think this because we said you're free in this year and that year. You guys never set us free according to biblical standards. Okay.
Well, so what What does setting you free from biblical standards mean? Like taking
You
you
would have
back?
to taking us back with reparation. That's not. I'm not seeking reparation, but that would have been biblical standard.
But what like taking you back to your country with reparation? What do you mean by that? Like reparation in that?
Return us from
context?
where we. Yeah, at the proper time, if you guys had taken us back and given us reparations for that, that would have
But
been a
what
God.
would be the reparations like due at that point?
It would set us free out of your hand, out of your control. But here we're controlled by what the white man says. We're controlled by your laws. These are not God's. The constitutions are not God's law. These are the constructs of a European man's mind. That's the laws of America, the Constitution. They're not biblical. That's why even from the foundation, you guys allow every religion. How can you be a Christian and allow every religion to be taught in this land? Major contradiction, because it was never a Christian land. This was the idea of your forefathers.
No, yeah, it's not a Christian country. It's
Yeah.
it's a secular country. Yeah.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. So just trying to prove it to you here. So again, you guys, and then just one day said, well, you guys are free. Okay, done. You didn't give us a land. You didn't give us any sort of reparations. You didn't give us any accommodations. That's why many slaves they didn't know where to go. That's all they had known from sun up to sundown their entire lives. They didn't know what to do. What were they going to go do? Start a business? No, they didn't know. A lot of them didn't even know how to read. Come on, let's be real. But you guys just say, you're free now. What did that mean? That's not biblical standards for setting us free. So that's why here it says that we shall take you captives, whose captives we were. From a biblical standpoint, we're still captives here because you guys didn't set us free. I'll keep going. And they shall rule over their oppressors. So the laws here in America do not accommodate the quote-unquote African-American man. That's why redlining and all sorts of discriminatory practices have been placed on my people since we've been here. This whole notion that we just have to vote the right person in. I tell my people, stop voting. Vote for the Messiah to come back. Live righteously. The notion that all of a sudden we just waiting for this one person to set everything straight is not going to happen. But this is your system. So just to be clear, all right. Now the Lord should give the rest from the bondage, the sorrow, the fear, the hard bondage where thou was made to serve. Again, this is the end. This just verse 4 proves that this is the end time Babylon against the king of Babylon. But let's go down to verse, and we can read all of this. In the interest of time, I want to just kind of hit with a couple different things. I want to show you. We can go down to verse 21, same chapter. Prepare. Now you say it doesn't matter because I've separated myself, but from a biblical standpoint, remember, prepare slaughter for his children. For what? For what he did? No, for the iniquity of their fathers. Now we just got.
Okay. Here's my question: Were they in line with their father at that point, or had they separated themselves and denounced their father? Is there?
Now,
can you give me any instance in the Bible where people had denounced where they came from and the people that their people, okay, and were still judged based on the atrocities of those before them?
A verbal declaration won't be sufficient.
I mean, you say that, but where does it say that in the Bible?
Because
that seems like a non-biblical principle.
Well, that's okay. So then, prove it up. Honestly, the burden of proof in this particular scenario would have to be on you because this does not specify if a person denounced, which means it really doesn't matter. Verse 21
it doesn't necessarily say that. I'm asking you a question. So there's no necessarily burden of proof. I'm asking you a question.
And my position is, since verse 21 does not tell us that if a person verbally denounces, lineage or any culpability, now all of a sudden you're free. Verse 21 doesn't say that. It says if you are the children to those who did the wicked things, you will have to pay for the iniquity of your fathers.
But when you say your people, you're meaning people who live a certain way, act a certain way, regard things in a certain way, right?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
When you say you people, you're talking about people that live in specific ways, right?
No, I'm talking about lineage, biblical lineage, and I'm gonna start saying it just for clarity.
Because I'm not talking about skin color. It doesn't necessarily go into that though, man, because it kind
Who is the father?
of talks about separate nations. The Edomites were all people who lived in a similar way. It was essentially a nation of folk.
We're going to go to Edom next, and I don't think you will be able to deny, man, this has to fit what my people have done for the last 500,000 years or so forth. You have to admit it. But the children...
I'm not denying what people have done, bro. I'm just denying that, like, I didn't have anything to do with that.
Right. But here we see that you just prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. It didn't say for the people of the nation that they live. Their fathers, the one who birthed them, the seed line that they come from. But we'll continue.
I guess, okay. Hold on. So I have a question for you here. And this is just something I'm thinking, right? So was it just the Hebrew Israelites that were like the real Israelites? Was it just them that were brought to America?
There may have been a couple onesies and twosies, I can't tell you that, but by and large, yes, because the prophecy said that that was part of the prophecies that the Israelites will be taken to a captivity, a land of captivity by way of ship. That okay, is in Deuteronomy.
How did that all come about? How did specifically the real Israelites come into captivity to be sold to America? Like, how did that happen?
I think you're going to say black people sold black people.
No, it's like that. That's what happened. That's undeniable. Like
black people, but for clarity, we know that it was by and large. I can't say no Israelite did wrong, but by and large, Africans sold Israelites. I don't believe that I'm African. It's two different things. Ham, if you're familiar with Ham, Shem, and Japheth, it's a completely different nation. Although we're still similar in color, by and large, we're not the same bloodline people. So
yeah, that's fine.
Africans sold the Israelites out of slavery.
But how did that come about?
Because we live wickedly according to the laws, statutes, and commandments given to us in the book of Deuteronomy. Just as simple. We did wrong. It was our fault, totally. That part, we lived wrong. But nonetheless, the nation who provides the judgment to Israel when they do wrong, they always get judged as well. Hence Egypt, hence Assyria, the Persians, the Medes, Babylon, certainly Greece, Rome. So it doesn't matter. God will use them to judge his people, but they still have to get judged afterward.
So where the people who have occupied the people who have occupied where the real Israelites come from, how are they there? When did they get there?
By hook and crook. By a false identity, which is why I started in Revelation 2:9 showing you that there will be a people that Christ had to tell you, these are not the people though, because my people are in tribulation and poverty in the end times. They're not running the world like those Ish people are doing. The Jewish people, right? They run come on, they control the money. Let's just start, we can just go down on the list. We know they run and control it.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, and so they live great. That's why America has not given African Americans reparation, but they give money to Israel every single year to the tune of tens of billions. Not to mention the military support that they give them.
Fair.
So America does know how to give reparations. So to you people in the comments talking about reparations, America does know how to do it. They just don't think we should get it. So
that's the thing though, is like we're not giving reparations to Jews because we never did anything to Jews.
Okay, and that could be your standpoint. I respect it. That's where you are.
We're giving money to them because they probably own all the gold, dude. We're probably trying to appease the people who are in control.
Okay, but nonetheless, they are in a control position, and God's people would be in a state of tribulation and distress and even poverty. Jews are not. That's the one class of people you would say, the quote-unquote Jewish people. That's the one nation of people you would say for sure not in poverty.
Israel? Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so how could this fit them? So he's telling God's people that they're, and actually that's Revelation 2 and 9. If you go one chapter over to Revelation 3 and 9, it's reiterating the exact same point, that the people who are known as Jews are not. They're the synagogue of Satan. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair, right? So my question is though, like, so it was about, if I remember correctly, it was like 3 million people were brought out of Africa into the Americas in general. So only about 400,000 were brought to North America. The rest of them were all South America. So my question is, like, why is this not a belief that is held widely over in Africa right now?
Well, I would say because we're not African. That's why, look, 400-500 years ago is not that far along as far as how well we have been able to keep historical documented records. 400 or 500 years ago is not that much. We should have Somalians or Sudanese people or Ethiopians or Egyptians or whoever else saying, hey, those are our people. You took them for. Nobody's doing that. Why? Because we're not those people. They let the
so Middle Eastern. All right, that's fine. But
Middle Eastern.
Yeah, that's where Israel is.
Well, the Bible doesn't talk about Middle East. The Israel's in the Middle East. It's actually Northeast Africa.
So you're African then?
No, but on that particular continent to the northeast is where Israel was. Further down is where you got the Africans. I'm just saying it's all in one place. But that's neither here. That's actually neither here nor there. But my point.
Well, I mean, it is though. It is, because you just said you're not African, but like I'm bound to my lineage to Europe.
Okay. Well, let me put it to you like this. So, what land was Israel before the Israelites took control of it? What was the name of it? If you don't know, no problem.
Yeah, I'd have to look. Like I said, I'm not a biblical scholar.
No problem. The name of the land was Canaan, which was a son of Ham, or son or grandson of Ham. So it could not have been, but God allowed them to take that piece of the land.
Really? Israel was Canaan? That's crazy.
Absolutely.
It was like rife with fucking.
It. That's why we had to clear it out and so forth. But God allowed. Now, in His infinite wisdom, He said, "That's the piece of land I want you guys to have." But it was technically, quote unquote, what we would call African. It was of the Hamite, lineage. So I'm glad you said that. But hopefully, it brings a little clarity. But you don't have the African people over there saying, "Hey, bring us our people back," because it's something totally different. So
right. Well, and that's what I'm saying though, man. Is like, Europe is a continent.
Okay, let's go to Psalms. You asked me a great question, and although I got several things, it's so important. We got to deal with it. Can you go to Psalms 83 real quick? You saying why don't all these different 10 million, how many people came over here all together? You're telling me, why does anybody know it? Well, let's look at Psalms 83 real quick. Let me know when you're there. I'll just.
All right, I'm in Psalms 83.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up their head in pride. What did they do? Verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. What did they do? Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a what? Nation. That the name of what? Israel be no more in remembrance. That's why, look, something happened here where people came together divisively to say, hey, you know what? Let's come together. That's why the African trade took us all over the world by your own admission. Down South America, London, just a variety of places. And they said, hey, let us cut. But it didn't say let us take Africans. It said that the name of Israel be no more. So I'm going to show you one other place verse 5.
So is that a prophecy, or is that them detailing what was going on at the time?
This is a prophecy. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate or together against thee, Israel. Who is it? The tabernacles of your forefathers, Edom. And then the Ishmaelites. Doesn't that make sense? The Ishmaelites, the Middle Eastern people, we already know they were part of the slave trade before it was called the transatlantic. Moabites, that would be the Chinese people, Chinese or Japanese people. Hagarenes are the Africans. We just go all the way down up through here. He's naming lists of people that if we were to trace them back, we would say conclusively they were as some part of the transatlantic, the slave trade.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, the Muslims, they were like fucking brutal.
There you go. So we see that this is an end time prophecy, and this did not happen. Israel, the name of Israel, never got lost before Christ came. People knew who they were, the Southern Kingdom. This never happened. So,
they considered themselves that, yeah.
Hold on, heritage. Hold on one second. I want to just one verse, and then because you said you made a comment about showing you why, you know, who Edom is and what his judgment is, and if nothing else, I want to make sure we leave on that. Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. Okay. One second. Okay.
Hold on to that.
No problem.
Jeremiah verse 4, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Well, wait, Jeremiah what verse 4, sorry?
Okay. Jeremiah 17 verse 4.
Thank you.
Okay. And if we start at verse 1 of chapter 17, it's the sin of Judah that caused verse 4 to happen. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, right? With the point of a diamond. It's graven in. Okay, so we see it was through their sin that verse 4 happens. Let's get to verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land, not your land, in a different land, which thou knowest not. We had never been to America before.
Who is he talking to there?
Okay, this never happened in Jeremiah's time. Scholars would agree. I've read a lot of scholars. They can't prove it. He never lost his heritage. From the day he died, he moved. Some people speculate he moved here, there, but he never lost his heritage, and his people never lost the knowledge of who they were. So this was a prophecy for future times. But check it out. I'm not forcing you to take a look at it and say, hey man, does it fit or does it not? Shall cause you to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn forever. Okay, so I just want you to corroborate what I was showing you in Psalms 83.
All right, so what's this in reference to?
Well, God's people being scattered and, lost, blinded, not knowing who they are or living righteously. All of it. Yeah. But it was only to God's people. That's why we,
so this only pertains to God's people.
Right. Of which I believe I am.
Okay, yeah. I get that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm not trying to beat you down with it. I'm just saying that I think that if we look at it from just an objective lens, it won't seem so far-fetched now if we kind of put it in proper perspective.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if he's talking to you when he says that doesn't pertain to anybody else.
Okay. So, but yeah, Edom has to get judged pursuant to the prophecies. Now, are you familiar with the book of Obadiah? No pressure if you're not.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, the book of Obadiah gives indication on, his judgment and why he's getting judged. So if you want to go to, it's just one chapter. We can kind of, poke in and out of it and see how far we get. Won't take too long.
When was this written?
That's a great question. I don't remember the year. Let's find out real quick. But we know this is not fulfilled because it says the entire house of Edom will be wiped out. And we know the Edomites were here even during the time of, matter of fact, the Romans were Edomites. Herod and all the rest of them. Idumeans, that's just Edomites. So we know this couldn't have been fulfilled up until the time of Christ. If that makes sense.
All right. It was based on the prophetic vision concerning the fall of Edom, a mountain-dwelling nation whose founding father was Esau. Obadiah describes an encounter with Yahweh, who addresses Edom's arrogance and charges them for their violence against your brother Jacob. Throughout most of the history of Judah, Edom was absolutely controlled from Jerusalem as a vassal state. Okay. Obadiah said that the high elevation of their dwelling place in the mountains of Seir had gone to their head, and they puffed themselves up in pride. Though you soar like the eagle and make your nest among the stars, there I will bring you down, declares the Lord. In the siege of Jerusalem, Nebuchadnezzar II sacked Jerusalem, carting away the king of Judah, and installed a puppet ruler. Edomites helped the Babylonians loot the city. Obadiah, writing this prophecy around 590 BCE, suggests the Edomites should have remembered that blood was thicker than water. On the day you stood aloof while the strangers carried off his wealth and foreigners entered his gates and cast lots for Jerusalem, you were like one of them. You should not march through the gates of my people on the day of the disaster, nor gloat over them in their calamity in the day of their disaster, nor seize their wealth in the day of their disaster. So I don't understand how this, like, they're talking about very specific things here when they're speaking about this, like certain atrocities that were done. The judgment of Edom is going to be based off of this looting of this city versus this being something that's like particularly about people getting sent overseas.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are many prophecies, but I just had to have a starting place. And Obadiah is specifically written about the towards the judgment of Edom. So I figured we start here. This might be a great place to start.
Yeah,
there are several great places. So, verse 3, thus the vision of Obadiah concerning Edom. So you see that there it is. Okay. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? All right. So these things are not meaningless. The pride of thy heart deceived thee, that dwells in the clefts of the rock. And we know, you, by your own admission, you come from the Caucasus Mountains.
Yeah, but this is, they're talking about the mountains of Seir.
No doubt. But you guys, so very good, glad you know that. So this is saying that, hey, listen, this is a prophecy that God would send them back into the mountains, into the state. And they said, hey, we will return. And actually, let's see. Let's keep going. I want to point out something for you. So the dwells in the clefts of the rock. Now, no other nation, you're right, the Edomites did, and we know you guys were in the Caucasus Mountains. We know after Rome fell, you guys started going back into the mountains.
You keep saying you guys, man. You keep saying you guys.
Okay, your bloodline lineage. Sorry.
But okay. You can't tie me to this, to Middle Easterners, man. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so let's keep going. The well in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation, your living place is high. This is why if we go to Japan, you already know the Oriental looking huts over there. Everybody lived low. African lived in huts. Even over here in America, lived in huts. Nobody had this notion for sky towers and all this stuff, skyscrapers and so forth. The Europeans are the single-handedly the one that brought that to every nation. Because you guys,
what are you talking about? That's crazy. That's literally crazy. Just factually untrue, Chris.
That is okay. So look at
the Chinese. The Chinese built high like 2,000 years ago.
Okay, I didn't see no one else built high. We know they were building high in the Tower of Babel. What I'm suggesting to you, the one who commercialized the
hey, real quick, Chris, real quick, hold on. Sure. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome in, Norons. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Please come on in, man. I really appreciate y'all. Rob, thank you, man. Thank you. Oh, dude, awesome, bro. Thank you guys for jumping in, bro. Norons, assemble! Thank you, guys. Fucking appreciate it, man. You guys rock. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so yeah, the ones who commercialize this high level living, you wouldn't attribute that to Europeans. Whether you think you are one or not, you wouldn't say they commercialized it across the face of the earth. It was certainly not America. By and large, it was certainly not in Africa. Certainly not in South America. Who brought it there?
Let's be real. Now, you might find one Japanese or a couple Japanese structures that were built kind of high, but that made the penthouse, the pinnacle of success. The 132. Who did that? Habitation is a dwelling place. But let's keep going. Who should bring me down?
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay, sure.
Let's take this piece by piece.
Sure.
Like ancient China built things incredibly high. They had wonderful technology back then. They've been doing this for years without any influence from the Western world. So like we weren't the ones. So if that's what constitutes an Edomite, then that also constitutes that the Asians are Edomites as well.
Let's keep going because we got to put it all together. Now, again,
China's a very mountainous, high elevation country in places. Probably higher elevation than in America.
Absolutely, but who's known to live in there? Edomites were living in Mount Seir. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we know the Caucasus Mountains where the Europeans came out with all your brothers and sisters, the Vikings, the Visigoths, the Mongol, the barbarians. Your whole family came out of there. All your bloodline, your biblical lineage. Let me say that you guys all came out of the mountains.
Okay.
Now you can't say that about the Chinese people. I'm not sure you can find 10 here, 5 there, whatever. But as a lineage of people, you guys fit that. He said in his heart, "Who shall bring me down?" It was out of pride. We live here. I get to bring down.
But hold on. You're conflating two things here because like Edom specifically, they lived in a high elevation dwelling place in the mountains of Seir. Those are Middle Easterners.
Okay. Oh no, sir. But okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Oh man.
I mean, those are Middle Easterners. Like that's where the mountains of Seir were. It's just on the east side of what we call like the nation of Israel today. So like I would like to see how these people when the divide was, when the change was. Like if you can show me a direct link from me to the people of Edom, that would make me like start to like kind of engage in this a little bit. But
really?
You've made a connection between my bloodline and Edom, and you haven't really like substantiated that at all.
Oh, okay. So if we needed to do that, I would have started in the book of Genesis where it all started. Even JS pretty much did not argue that he's in the line of Edom. I mean, it's pretty, if we go through it, the characteristics, the descriptions, the prophecies, such and so forth, it is, we could do that. I didn't know I needed to do that. I probably should.
All right, where's that at? No, I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying I just can't really engage that much because I don't know the connection there.
Got it. I totally understand it. You need to know who Edom is and how to identify him. So you do know Jacob had a brother Esau. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, great. They were born from Isaac. Isaac and Rebekah came together. And the prophecies, if we go to 25th chapter of Genesis, we can see how this stuff all unfolded from the beginning. And I think it will help you to see the Edom thing.
Okay. Abraham's dead.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's start. So you know Rebecca was pregnant. She had twins in her womb. Can we start from that concept?
Yes.
Because we can start as far as okay, great. All right. So let's start at verse 21. Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife. She was barren. The Lord entreated him, and then finally Rebecca got pregnant. Great. Verse 22. Yeah. And the children struggled together within her. She said, "If it be so, why am I thus, Lord? You let me to have get pregnant. Why am I struggling?" And she went to inquire of the Lord. Verse 23. The Lord said unto her, 2 nations, not the same people, 2 ethnicities are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people. So they can be 2 nations, and guess what? The mannerisms are going to be different. They won't even act alike or be alike. And this is not something that typically happens, so the God had to give her an explanation. Here it is. 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. 1 people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay. Her days would be to deliver, twins in her womb. Okay. Verse 25. The first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So let's start right here. This is the first kind of clue, because you can look through this whole chapter. Don't take my word for it. Jacob's physical description is never even hinted at. But they talk about Esau because he was physically different. He was red, and if they're living over there, what you may call the Middle East, up northern Africa somewhere, Mesopotamic area, it's hot. And what do Europeans do in the sun?
We tan.
We turn red. You don't tan, you turn red.
No, I don't sunburn.
Maybe not so easily as some of your brothers and sisters, but I'm pretty sure just a matter of time. Unless without suntan, you don't sunburn.
Not really, no. But I'm also like I'm
okay,
half Cuban.
Okay, so you got a little melanin. Okay, so I could get that. Maybe that helps you in that area. But by and large, 100% European man, pale, what we consider pale white, no offense, is going to get sunburned in the sun. Let's keep going. You may see that circumstantial. Let's keep going.
But wait. Hold on. It says he came out red. So did he get sunburned in his mom's stomach?
No, he came out red because his blood showed forth through his skin. Now, I asked you about Europeans because we can see it's not just the sun. I'm glad you said that. It's if they get embarrassed, if they get super excited, if they get too cold, sometimes they'll turn red. But we see this continual thing through European people where they will still to this day turn red. You really can't find it, not even in what you would consider Middle Eastern.
Hey, wait. Hold that thought real quick. I just want to engage with chat for a second. Sorry, guys. I haven't been looking at chat. EOD, welcome in, bro. Always good to see you. Amagad, what's going on, my dude? Grid, what's going on, dude? Sorry I didn't get to you earlier. K2, what's up, my brother? Good to see you, my man. Michael Hatch, thanks for coming in, bro. I appreciate it. Who else we got? Achilles, what's going on, bro? Good to see you. Who else? Johnny Peterosa, what's going on, dude? Thanks for coming back in. Always good to see you. Sorry, Grid, my bad, dude. I got my Bible out. I'm also going through different pages and stuff. So, anyway, go ahead, Chris. My bad.
Okay. Okay, so let's keep going. So I'm building a case. All right, so the whole red thing, hot, cold, embarrassed, excited. Of course, the sun, we see just a variety of scenarios where what we consider a European person would get red. Let's keep going, though. Let's not live there. All over like a hairy garment. They called his name Esau. Verse 26, the brother came out to call. Okay, let's go down to 27 because that doesn't give the description. Tells us Jacob was 70. Verse 27, the boys grew. Now we're going to start getting some more descriptions. Esau was.
Hold on, wait a minute. I have a contradiction for you here. I'd like you to expand on this.
Sure.
So it's Genesis 26:29. Esau sells his birthright. Okay. And what it's saying right here in 33 is Jacob said, swear to me now. Or sorry. 32 said, Esau said, I am about to die. Of what use is a birthright to me? Is my lineage not my birthright?
Yes. Just because he was a firstborn son. But it's still two different nations. That does not negate the fact that the Father, Most High God, told Rebekah specifically that two nations or two ethnicities are in that womb. But just because he came out of her womb first, nonetheless, the firstborn son is the one who got the birthright. That's just basic Hebraic understanding. To which I don't think you would argue.
But he sold his birthright, so you can sell your birthright.
Okay, which you guys did, and we took it. Now you guys want it back, but you can't never give it back because you sold it.
What do I want back? I don't want any fucking birthright back.
Well, I mean, just saying that
I'll announce it right now, bro. Since I can sell my birthright, I am now selling for free. Anyone who wants my European birthright, they can take it. I don't give a fuck about my European lineage. It's up for free. That shit's on the fucking corner, man. It's on the curb. They can pick it up with the trash. I don't care about that, bro. I'm an American. You see what I mean?
But his birthright was not his biblical identity. His birthright was the blessings. It could have been a variety of things. It could have been money. It could have been cattle. It could have been sheep. It could have been water, servants. It could have been a wide pasture land, depending on how much he had, and that's what he would have received as a birthright, not his heritage. His lineage is already solidified. Just for clarity, two totally different things. All right, verse 27 of chapter, and we'll speed up.
Show that though. Can you show that?
What the birthright? Yeah, birthright. You could honestly. That's Would you like me to shoot you a Google screenshot? That's straight to the point. What was birthright in the Bible?
Well, there's things like birthright citizenship, right? So you're born in America, you're an American citizen, right? That specifically has to do with where your heritage is going to go from there and where your heritage comes from. It's specifically based on those two things.
In the book of Genesis, the birthright was a special inheritance and set of privileges granted to the firstborn son. It included a larger portion of the father's estate, often a double portion, the role of family leader, spiritual head. It also symbolized the continuation of the family line and passing of covenant promises.
Okay.
So in no way, shape, form, or fashion determine what nationality or biblical identity you had.
Okay. So my question for you then is, what blessings do I have from my bloodline?
Oh man, and we're getting right to it. I think is it in this or the next chapter? We're going to get right on to it. But there's a couple characteristics that I want to see real quick, right here in verse 27. See if you can see it. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. Now, if we just take a quick little pause here, I think you would agree. Take yourself out of it because you say you're not European. Okay, I'm not arguing with that. Europeans at large love hunting to this very day. Am I far-fetched with that? Head and shoulders above everyone else.
Don't all people, people from all over the world, hunt though?
Sure, I didn't say this. My argument was not that no one else on the face of the earth hunted, but head and shoulders above everyone else, a European man loves to hunt. Matter of fact, I've done this many times and showed many people. If you just put hunter in Google and go to images, 90+% of the people are going to be European men. This is a given.
But that doesn't necessarily, those two things aren't necessarily that. That has to do with who's taking pictures when they're hunting and posting it online.
Yeah,
right?
I mean
that doesn't mean that people of other nations don't love to hunt. It's not even saying that there's a majority there. It's just there's a representation of it online. Those two things are not. It's a false equivocation.
No, not at all, my man. You guys are perhaps just about perfected hunting, and it doesn't matter what you guys are hunting. That you guys got technology that you can see in the dark and send missiles all across through the water, up in the air, through the clouds. Hunting. It doesn't matter what you're hunting. It's not just hunting a fish. You guys are hunters by nature. The moose is. How old are you, roughly? You don't have to tell me.
I'm 32.
Okay, 32. Well, we've seen a lot of the cartoons, a lot of the older footage in movies and sitcoms, and you would typically see a man in a cabin, and you would see like a moose head on the wall. So you never saw that in a quote unquote African American household. Deer hunting.
Well, yeah, but you're talking about you're comparing two people, right? So if you want to say the typical waspy American versus African American, yeah, I mean, you can definitely say that's more of a thing that the waspy Americans are going to have in their houses, but countries all over the world take trophies.
No,
I would like to kind of reiterate that not when you say you guys, you're saying all together. When if you took what percentage of the Americans are hunters versus slovenly stay-at-home, watch TV kind of people, and I'm specifically breaking this down into race because this is the way that this is going, right? Okay. So if you look at how many people all across the world that are white don't engage in hunting at all, it's a very tiny amount. because that's typically what rich people do.
Okay. Can I see
Like
you a
the
screenshot?
average working class person doesn't get to go out and hunt as much as they want to, right?
Okay.
I'm not saying there aren't working class people that don't hunt.
Sorry about that.
Or I'm not saying that there aren't working class people that hunt. All I'm saying is, like, you know, it's not like a common thing in this country. It's not a common thing anywhere really, like in the waspy. Like,
Okay. Now this is what you say, but I just Googled lower class. I just Googled, and I'm more than willing to put this in the private chat if you would like. But I put it on, so it's on my computer.
okay, yeah. I'll share the screen.
Okay.
I don't fear evidence, bro. If you got something to show to prove me wrong, I will pull it up and prove myself wrong right there.
Okay, well, I'm going to do this right here because I want to help you to see what you don't see already. So hold on 1 second. I may go out, but it'll literally be for 5 seconds. I just got to see where to put the messages. Here we go. I think this will do it. Let me know if you get this picture, that image I just sent. That should be it. I think it is.
It's not. It's showing up about blank.
I don't know how to send it to you now. I screenshotted it, and God bless it. Man, it would be so great for you to see it. But I put into Google, what ethnicity likes to hunt the most? I'm reading verbatim. In the United States, the vast majority of hunters are white. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, I would ask you, about what percent of the people are white?
In the United States, it's like 65, 70%, something like that.
97% of all U.S. hunters are white.
Okay.
Now you couldn't see a discrepancy. You said, well, people like to hunt. 97% are white.
Yeah, but in the United States, that makes sense.
So this okay. See, now you verify, but you couldn't see it earlier. I'm just trying, and I'm not trying to beat you down about it. I'm just trying to show you. No, it didn't say no one else liked to hunt, but he is head and shoulders above everybody else in this regard. Also, look at this.
But you said in the world, and right now that stat comes from the United States.
Okay, and I guarantee it wouldn't be any different in Europe. Do you think it would be different in Europe?
I mean, Europe.
Okay, all right, thank you. So by and large,
Europe is way wider than America is.
True. Okay, I'll give you that. And then Africa is way blacker, so then that would be but this is more of a mixture, so this should give you an idea because we have all people in this land. Hello, right?
Okay.
Okay. So that shows you the great disparity in terms of how most people like to hunt and how Europeans. I don't think it could be denied, but let's keep going. He was a man of the field, more so than any other nation. And I dare you. Ooh, man, I dare you to contest this one. Europeans love animals. Is that far-fetched?
No, I mean that makes sense.
Love animals in ways other people, because I can tell you, black people, I just say maybe that makes it easier. Maybe if I call myself black, maybe you start calling yourself white. So black people, man, how we used to handle animals, it's a little different in the last decade, but man, we didn't love animals the same way you guys did. It's just being honest. Keep them in the house.
And we don't love animals the same way they do in Afghanistan now, do we?
I missed it. You kind of broke up a little bit.
I said we don't love animals the same way they do in Afghanistan, do we?
Yeah, probably.
Allah has spoken. Muhammad said you can fuck a goat. Okay, so like,
okay.
Yeah, we like animals here. They give them all that love.
No, yeah. Well, okay. I won't go there. I won't go into bestiality today. But I will say this: it doesn't matter if it's a bird. It doesn't matter if it's in the depth of the ocean. It doesn't matter if it's an ant or wolf. I'm glad you see it's just his nature to hunt, and he loves to be in the field more so than anybody else. I didn't say because you may say I don't like to hunt. Okay, but by and large. Okay, so I'm just building a case, and if we see that there is a substantial difference between, then we got to say, hey man, this must be a reason. So let's keep going.
We'll do just a couple more because this is giving attributes of what this lineage would be like. Send me the birthright. This so we know we got the birthright. All right. I want to show you this real quick.
Hey, give me 2 seconds.
Sure.
I gotta switch my laundry over. Here's
Go
what I'm
right
gonna
ahead.
do. Here's what I'm gonna do. Hold on. 1 second. I'm gonna pull this up on my phone so we can keep talking, and I'm going to do that. So 1 second, bro. Just hang with me here. I apologize. Hold on to the thought you're about to go over. I want to keep listening. Thanks for jumping up, man. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Appreciate it. Likewise, man. This is going well.
Oh shit. Okay, hold on 1 second. Guys, I'm posting the stream link into chat, but this is not an open debate. I will not be bringing anybody up if I did not send you the stream link personally. Okay, I'm just doing this so I can get in on my phone. Sorry, guys, it's not an open debate.
All right, you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. I'm here.
Okay. So we see that I want to pull out some characteristics. We saw some things. You may not agree with them in Obadiah, but we just kind of point out some things as we go along. Now, are you familiar with the point in time where Isaac was fooled to believe that Jacob was Esau?
No.
Does that ring a bell? No pressure if it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Okay. All right. So basically.
Oh, wait. Hold on. It's when his father was not blinded or blindfolded or something, and he acted as though he was him and took in that piece of cloth that he could touch.
Mm-hmm. Come on, and that's what I want to get to. So let's
Okay.
go over to chapter 27 because this is very enlightening, and I'll tell you why. So we got all that part. So let's get to it. So I'm at chapter 27. Let's start at verse 11. We'll get right onto it. And Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, "Behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will fill me, and I shall sing to him as a deceiver, and he won't get the blessing." Verse 14, and he went and fetched, brought it to his mother. Oh no, hold on, I went too fast. Sorry. I want you to see this. Let's go to verse 16. So Rebecca told, you're absolutely right. Rebecca told Jacob to go get the skin of what kind of animal? Goats. Verse 16. And she put on the skin of goats, of the kids of the goats, which is just a young goat, upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. Why? Not just because there was a difference and he was hairier, but would you agree that there are only two basic hair types in the world for humans? Would you agree? Slight variations, but it's either this or that. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't agree
Because,
that it's either straight, stringy, or woolly? That's the basics. Now, of course, there's some slight variations, but you wouldn't agree.
Well, there's kind of a spectrum between those two, right? Like, there's curly, there's thick, there's hair that's straight but still like really thick, and then there's hair that's curly that's thin, and that's like there's kind of a whole spectrum. You know what I mean?
Which is why I prefaced it by saying, of course, we see some slight variations, but for instance, you can look at a man by his hair and say, "Uh-oh, this man is not European." Is that fair?
I mean, people would say that about me.
They would say that you're not European?
Yeah, like when I grew up, like I know I don't have any hair anymore, but when I grow my hair out, it like grows out very curly and outwards, right?
Yeah,
like,
but where'd you get that from? They got that from the Cuban side. Most Europeans who have two European parents, that's not the case for them. It's straight and shrinky, and that's just general information. I think you would agree. Okay, so you got that from the Cuban part of it. I'm not saying that you can get those those traits from wherever, but by and large, like a 100% European man, you know what I'm saying? That won't be the case. And right, is that fair?
I mean, like for the sake of argument, I'll go ahead and concede. I'd like to see where you're going with this.
Okay, because she got the skin of goats, which is the straight and stringy, not the skin of a lamb, which is woolly, like what you would call a black person.
The skin or the hair?
The hair, excuse me, the hair. I'm saying that wrong. Thank you for clarifying. Yes. So
Okay.
she got the hair of goats, not the hair of lamb, which is diabolically different.
Okay.
Okay, so now again, this is so much circumstantial information, and we can just keep going. There's more. He's identifying it. Now, let's look at, there's one more that I have to show you. Now, there are several more, but there's one more I have to show you, and it's right here. It's straight to the point. Where is it? Okay, so Jacob got the blessing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My son. Okay, so Jacob got the blessing out of him, and let's go right on down. Let's go down to verse 38. This is another major, attribute we can look into. Let's start at verse 40, because this is where so he got the firstborn blessing, the birthright went to Jacob, but the father still blessed Esau with a few things. Let's see what it is. Verse 39, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. So you're going to live in the best parts of the earth. Wherever you live, you're going to make it the fatness of the land. Okay. Now I think we can just let's start. We can start with America and say, when we look at the fatness of the land, again, you may take me a sprinkle, but just like that hunter who lives in the greater 90% of the best parts of America. Okay, I think you would agree. Great. So let's keep going. And by the fatness of earth and the dew of the heavens, and look at verse 40. And by thy sword shall thou live. Whoa, that's a blessing. Only sword in the Bible, don't take my word for it, is weaponry.
Yeah. I mean, we can agree on that.
Okay, sword. Who is light? When I say magnanimous, light year universities away, whatever, away from. And you would agree to this more so than the average black man. The white man has his swords. Come on, Inspector Gadget. Come on, Batman.
Yeah, 100%. Right? Yeah.
So these are indications of something. Now that's just the gadgets, and we ain't talking about the atomic bomb and nuclear warfare. All these stealth bombers.
But so here's my thing though. Is like, so in America, yeah, we are a war-driven nation, but like America is not limited to the white people though. That's true. That's the difference.
Who developed the gun? Were they white people?
No, it was the Chinese. The Chinese were the first ones to develop firearms. Okay,
and you can believe it if you want. I've done my research on all the Luger and all the Smith and what year.
Yeah. The gun in the way that we know it today, but the initial, but the initial like creation of firearms was Chinese.
And that's totally fine. Just like you want to tell me that there's one tall building in Japan and you'll miss all the tall buildings the Tower of France has or whatever. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not the same. You could tell me one black hunter, but 97% of the hunters in America are European. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that no one else has it, but come on, man. The European man has conquered the earth through his weaponry.
Yeah,
that's how he got Australia.
Well, I mean, America has. Europe tried and failed. So
people with a European biblical lineage, to Edom, I have gone across the face of the earth and conquered those lands through weaponry. And that's just fact. That's how you guys got us out of Africa. We're throwing, spheres and so forth, and you guys are shooting guns. We say, oh, we're no match for this. You guys, you're going to live by your sword. Literally. That's how you guys got Australia, Argentina, South America, North America, Canada, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. We can just go. You did it through the sword. Now, who else has done this? This should not sound ridiculous by any means. Name me an African country, 54 countries, not just cities, 54 countries in Africa, untold numbers. Show me one that has done those things. Conquered the earth through weaponry. This is a major foretelling. And you put all these things together, you say, who else could it be? Not to mention Obadiah says that his symbol is the eagle. Hello, Rome, use the eagle. And we can go right back there. I'm not making anything up. Exalt thyself as the eagle. Who the symbol of America is what? The eagle. That's come on. So it's something you can't just say, that's foolishness. You guys really got to say, hey, wait a minute. Nobody else comes close to fitting these prophecies except for you guys. So what are your thoughts?
I mean, some of them I don't necessarily know if they're prophecies, man. Like, I think... Hold on.
They're attributes.